Chapter 13-15. I didn't expect you to have the first 6 of the 7 bridges. When all 7 bridge God art fuse together, that's the true great samsara. Yemo praised, I didn't finish before. Do you know why samsara is different from my samsara God art? It's not the origin of the God art but the formation of the God art's laws. After the ancient times, the abyssal realm laws of many planes were broken and the samsara passage was incomplete. In order to make up for samsara laws, many powerful beings used the samsara chi to build incomplete samsara laws. Most of the abyssal realm only have the 7th samsara bridge left. My plane is one of them. Although the 7th samsara bridge is the strongest of the 7 bridges, it's not complete. The reason I can use the reincarnation divine ability is related to my cultivation technique. It's something that I deduced myself. Screech. Before Yemo finished, there was another tearing sound in the void. That woman is here again. Let's split up. We'll meet again if we have the chance. Then, Yemo flashed and disappeared from the mound. Ning Cheng was also not slow. He changed his direction and also disappeared from sight. The laws of heaven and earth in the tomb of the God of heaven and earth were shattered and messy, but they were much stronger than the outside world. Even if that woman came, she wouldn't be able to easily find him with spirit sense. Moreover, the tomb of the gods of heaven and earth was full of dangers. If one was not careful, one would fall into it. Ning Cheng knew why the divine Tao sect leader didn't say to join up. Their cultivation level was too low. Even if they used the 7 bridges together, they would only be able to stop her for a while. He had already used this move once. If he used it again, he might not even be able to keep his life. He might as well split up and rely on luck to escape. Ning Cheng ran towards the depth of the mound like crazy while making up his mind to learn the 7th samsara bridge if he had the chance. Only when the 7 bridges fused together would it be a true top-grade great god art. She stood on the blue lotus at the border of the mound and frowned. She hadn't been here before but she had heard of the dangers here. If it was said that she didn't care about the mausoleum of the gods of heaven and earth before, she had to be careful now. Up until now, she didn't know who ambushed her at the top of Jiaoliang Mountain. It was clear that once they crossed the Jiaoliang Mountain, this place would be filled with danger. She only hesitated for a moment before she stepped into the tomb of the God of heaven and earth. No matter how dangerous it was, she couldn't let 2 guys with good fortune treasures escape from under her nose. She shuddered at the thought that she would obtain 3 creation treasures if she killed those 2 ants. It was a kind of excitement that was difficult to restrain. In any case, it would be fine as long as they didn't follow common sense. Shi who was chasing Ning Cheng exclaimed in shock. Just as Ning Cheng guessed, she was planning to force Ning Cheng out of the heaven-earth deity tomb. She was also worried that if they fought in the tomb of the gods of heaven and earth, it would cause a bigger commotion. She didn't expect this insect to be so smart and know what she was thinking. If he continued to run like this, how long would it take for him to succeed? Thinking about this, she couldn't care about the broken plane here anymore. She lifted her hand and tore open the void, wanting to stop in front of Ning Cheng by tearing open the void. The path that Ning Cheng spent so much effort to escape was shortened by more than half by this woman. Ning Cheng was very desperate and increased his speed to the extreme. However, he couldn't tear open the void here with his ability. Otherwise, he would try no matter how dangerous it was. She tore open the void and there was no danger. This made she breathe easy. As soon as she landed, she tore open the void again. As soon as the void was torn open, a spatial dislocation that completely surpassed the surrounding laws came. No matter how fast she reacted, the terrifying spatial dislocation still tore apart her dress. Bloody marks appeared on her smooth chest. If she had been a step slower, the terrifying spatial dislocation would have torn her body apart. She sucked in a breath of cold air. She didn't care about her clothes covering her body and quickly flew back. At the place where she had torn open the void, the laws were even more chaotic and broken. Dao runes wreaked havoc in the place like the 9 levels of hell. Xing Shi, who looked at this terrifying scene from afar, still felt some fear. Her strength was still too weak. Perhaps only a true Unity Realm expert or even a Creation Realm expert would be able to move freely in this place. Slowly calming herself down, Xing Shi took out a new dress and put it on before looking for Ning Cheng's traces. It was just that with this delay, Ning Cheng had already disappeared into the depths of the Heaven-Earth deity tomb. More haste, less speed. Xing Shi finally understood the meaning of this sentence. She wouldn't give up. Even if she had to search here for tens of thousands of years, she would find these 2 fellows with good fortune treasures. Otherwise, once they succeeded in creating a realm, she wouldn't be able to do anything to them. Ning Cheng didn't know what happened to Xing Shi, and he didn't dare to use his spiritual consciousness to check. With his speed, even if he didn't fall into some dangerous places in the Heaven-Earth deity tomb, he might still get crushed by the chaotic laws. But Ning Cheng didn't care about it at all. His speed was so fast that a void crack swept over. He didn't even have the ability to avoid it and was directly swallowed by the powerful void crack. Ning Cheng knew that this wasn't good and immediately brought out the Everlasting Blue Thunder City. The Everlasting Blue Thunder City's artifact spirit had been seriously injured by the indestructible axe line and was still in tatters. But Ning Cheng could only rely on this protective weapon here. In just a few breaths, Ning Cheng felt that something was wrong. The place he came to now didn't seem to be the human world, but hell. No, this place obviously wasn't hell. In the places where his spiritual consciousness touched, some of the laws of heaven and earth were complete, while some of the laws of heaven and earth were broken. Some places didn't even have any laws. This was the first time Ning Cheng had felt such a strange situation. Generally, in a space, the broken laws would be broken, and the complete laws would also be complete. There would not be a similar situation like this. But this wasn't the strangest thing to Ning Cheng. What really made him feel strange was that apart from the laws of space, the laws of time were also different. If he hadn't come into contact with the laws of time, and if he hadn't used the laws of time as his trump card, he wouldn't have felt it. In some places, time flowed extremely fast. Staying in such a place for a quarter of an hour felt like several hours. There were also some places where time seemed to flow extremely slowly. In his spiritual consciousness, if he stayed in such a place for a year, only 10 days or half a month would have passed in the outside world. There were also places where the passage of time seemed to be normal, such as the place where he was lucky enough to stand. The sky around him was gray, and his spiritual consciousness couldn't see the end, nor could his eyes see the end. Faint Tao charm roars raged in this gray space. It seemed to come from far away, but at the same time, it also felt like it was right beside him. Everything showed that the place he came to was not a normal place. Ning Cheng carefully took a few steps forward, and with a kacha sound, he felt something hard under his feet. Just as he was about to check it out, a majestic and vast Tao charm aura rushed over. This kind of majestic Tao charm aura, he couldn't even block or avoid it. Fortunately, Ning Cheng quickly discovered that this Tao charm aura was only left behind by a powerhouse and didn't pose any danger to him. This Tao charm aura contained the mysterious grand Tao of heaven and earth, as well as the endless aura of the origin of all things. Chapter 13:16. Ning Cheng had already comprehended the threshold of Tao fusion before. Now that he felt the endless and more mysterious Tao charm aura of heaven and earth here, a kind of enlightenment suddenly surged in his heart. Perhaps this was the place for him to reach Tao fusion, but the laws of heaven and earth here were either complete or broken. How could he reach Tao fusion? Didn't they say that the laws of heaven and earth were broken, making it impossible for him to reach Tao fusion? Ning Cheng clenched his fists and even put away the Everlasting Blue Thunder City. In any case, he had to figure out what Tao fusion was before reaching it. Otherwise, what was the use of becoming an ordinary Tao fusion holy emperor? In Ning Cheng's opinion, the most powerful Tao confirming holy emperors were naturally like Xing Shi. Xing Shi was definitely a third-step powerhouse, but Ning Cheng guessed that before she reached the third step, she should have been a Tao fusion powerhouse. The second type of Tao fusion powerhouse was Tao Lord Chang Tian, whom he had met in the Grand Beginning Realm. When he met Tao Lord Chang Tian in the Grand Beginning Realm, Tao Lord Chang Tian should have just recovered his Tao fusion strength. Chang Tian's Tao fusion strength was far stronger than those he had met before, such as Ao Beijiang, Feng Xian, Shi Lin, and the others. From this, it could be seen that the difference in strength between people at the same Tao fusion realm was too great. In the vast universe, there were 3,000 Tao. These 3,000 might just be a general reference. Nobody knew how many real Tao there were, and nobody knew how many real Tao fusion paths there were. With so many Tao fusion paths, it was normal for there to be strong and weak ones. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng once again strengthened his confidence. No matter how many Tao fusion experiences he had heard, no matter how many Tao fusion methods he had obtained, only by comprehending them himself would he find the most suitable Tao fusion method. He casually picked up the hard object under his feet, but it turned out to be a fragment of a magic treasure. When Ning Cheng saw this magic treasure fragment, he knew that the level of this magic treasure was definitely not weaker than the mountain river dipper. Throwing away the magic treasure fragment, Ning Cheng felt a fire in his heart. Sure enough, there were treasures everywhere. He could easily find the fragments of top-grade magic treasures with a casual kick. Looking at the endless gray sky in front of him, Ning Cheng didn't retreat. Instead, he sped up and rushed into the depths. Boom boom boom. Endless Tao charm exploded in front of Ning Cheng's eyes. Even with Ning Cheng's vast knowledge, he still felt shocked by the vast scene in front of him. One after another, planets exploded in the void. Illusory giant hands casually crushed planets in the distance or smashed into them. The void space that was grabbed by the hands shattered and exploded. This, Ning Cheng sucked in a mouthful of cold air. What kind of scene was this? Very soon, he came to a realization. This was the trace of Tao runes left behind by the ancient mighty figures after a battle. The traces of Tao runes here could only reflect a shadow of the battle back then, but it was so terrifying. This gray space was also automatically separated by the traces of Tao runes left behind by the ancient mighty figures after the battle. No wonder I could see the heaven and earth deities' tomb mound last time. It turns out that these powerhouses really fight like this. Looking at the majestic aura of the planet in the distance, or rather, illusory majestic aura, Ning Cheng muttered to himself. At the same time, he felt his scalp tingling. At this moment, a deathly aura swept over. Ning Cheng's heart tightened, and he quickly hid in the mysterious yellow bead. Immediately after, his spiritual consciousness saw the endless blade lights and Tao charm sweeping across the mysterious yellow bead, tearing through the grayish space with a chi-chi sound. Ning Cheng felt a trace of fear in his heart. If he hadn't entered the mysterious yellow bead in time, he would not have been able to avoid the blade light's Tao charm. In the end, he would have most likely died. When the terrifying blade light's Tao charm swept past, Ning Cheng came out of the mysterious yellow bead with a trace of fear in his heart. It seemed that this place wasn't as safe as he thought. He could be swallowed up by the various Tao charm and slaughter aura at any time. Facing the blade light's Tao charm that almost took his life, Ning Cheng became even more careful. The deeper he went, the denser the explosions of the majestic spirit essence and Tao charm became. At the same time, all kinds of Tao charm intertwined with each other. Even if he hadn't experienced the battle back then, he could feel the number of powerhouses casting spirit techniques in this place from the dense intertwining of Tao charm. From time to time, all kinds of killing Tao charms swept over, but Ning Cheng had to hide inside the mysterious yellow bead every time. As time passed slowly, Ning Cheng went deeper into the endless killing Dao charm and constantly felt all kinds of grand Dao auras. Within these grand Dao auras, he constantly fused with his grand Dao and stripped away the Dao charm laws that he didn't need. In the beginning, Ning Cheng relied entirely on his intuition to avoid the killing Dao charm by entering the mysterious yellow bead. But later, he gradually didn't need to enter the mysterious yellow bead to avoid these terrifying Dao charm slaughtering auras. Although the Dao charm slaughtering auras cut his corporeal body from time to time, Ning Cheng could feel his progress over the past month. This progress wasn't just in terms of spiritual consciousness and spirit essence, but also in terms of spirit techniques. The law-breaking finger blasted out with even more powerful momentum. Boom! Another tearing Dao charm slaughtering aura blasted over. Ning Cheng had already experienced this before. He was just about to bring out the good fortune divine spear to test out the traceless spear pattern when he felt a familiar feeling from this killing aura. This was the aura of the indestructible axe's axe line. Ning Cheng immediately felt uncomfortable in his heart. His everlasting Blue Thunder City's artifact spirit had returned to its original form because of the indestructible axe's axe line's Dao charm. He himself had almost fallen under the indestructible axe's axe line's killing intent. Now that he encountered the same indestructible axe's axe line's killing intent, Ning Cheng didn't even think about it and shot out a finger. He couldn't block this axe line in the past. Now that he was a late-stage primordial chaos cultivator and had comprehended this slaughter space for a long time, he didn't believe that he couldn't kill this axe line of slaughter. Boom! The Dao charm in the space exploded, and the indestructible axe's axe line's killing laws began to weaken the moment it collided with the law-breaking finger's Dao charm. A violent backlash swept over, and Ning Cheng felt as if his 5 viscera and 6 bowels had disappeared. At the same time, a fiery heat rose from his zifu. The next moment, the axe line blasted him away. Gotcha! Ning Cheng landed on the ground and crushed the bones left behind by an unknown powerhouse. Although a mere axe line blasted him away, Ning Cheng's blood still boiled with excitement. Initially, under this axe line, he didn't even have the leeway to fight back and almost died. But now, he managed to scatter this axe line with just a finger. Not only that, but he also didn't suffer any damage. How could he not feel emotional about such an obvious improvement? Not bad, huh? A puny primordial chaos cultivator. Not only did you manage to survive to this point, you can even block a remnant of the indestructible axe line. An abrupt voice reached Ning Cheng's ears. Ning Cheng clenched the good fortune divine spear and took a few steps back, before asking in a cautious tone, "Who is it?" A voice appeared in his ears. He didn't know that this powerhouse was too strong for Ning Cheng. You don't have to worry. If I want to seize your body, you can't escape." The voice spoke up again. This time, Ning Cheng finally noticed that the voice came from a void not far from him. If not for this voice suddenly appearing in the void, Ning Cheng definitely wouldn't have cared about this void. But at this time, Ning Cheng discovered that the voice coming from the void was not something he could use his spiritual consciousness to capture the specific situation in the void. Ning Cheng didn't believe the other party's words. He wasn't afraid of seizing his body. If he had the guts, then try it. Your strength is not bad. Since you came here, then don't even think about leaving the gods' graveyard mound's slaughter world. You can live until today, but it doesn't mean that you can live until tomorrow. Let this monarch make a deal with you. I will guide you out, but you have to help me find something, and then bring it to me. The voice in the void once again spoke up in a leisurely manner. It should be an ancient powerhouse who didn't die. Since he could live until now, then he definitely was a powerhouse among powerhouses. Since he could only speak to him in the void, then there should be some kind of restriction. What do you want to find? Ning Cheng calmly asked. He neither agreed nor disagreed with it. He was still thinking about what kind of place this god's graveyard mound was, for it to have such a strange name. The voice in the void spoke up. After leaving the god's graveyard mound, there is a place called the Jiao Liang Sea. Since you came from outside the god's graveyard mound, then you should know what kind of place the Jiaoliang Sea is. There is a place in the Jiaoliang Sea called the White Bone Coral Forest. The reason for this name is that you can't get close to the seawater there. Once you get close, you will die. Can't get close to the seawater. The Jiaoliang Sea still has seawater. Ning Qing thought to himself. The Jiaoliang Sea had dried up everywhere, without even a drop of seawater. Right, Ning Qing understood that when this fellow was trapped in the god's graveyard mound slaughter world, the Jiaoliang Sea had not dried up yet. In the White Bone Coral Forest, there is an illusory crystal called the illusory sea crossing crystal. If you can find this illusory sea crossing crystal. The voice in the void had not finished speaking, but Ning Qing understood it completely. It seemed that he had good luck. When he went to look for the illusory sea crossing crystal, he only saw the white bone coral forest and not the deadly seawater. Otherwise, with the seawater in front of him that even the ancient powerhouses feared, he would never get close. Do you want the illusory sea crossing crystal? Ning Qing immediately asked. The voice in the void spoke up faintly, I want the stainless water. This kind of thing can be found in the absolute God River in the God's graveyard mound. But the stainless water must be stored in the illusory sea crossing crystal. Otherwise, even if you find the stainless water, it would not mean anything to me. Ning Qing smiled in his heart. He had both of these things, and the stainless water on him was stored in the illusory sea crossing crystal bottle. But why should he give it to this fellow? Should he ask this fellow to guide him out? He hadn't reached Tao integration yet, so he didn't want to go out and be chased by that woman. Even if he wanted to go out, he would have to wait until he reached Tao integration. Since he met this old fellow, it would be convenient to ask him a few questions. Senior, I wonder if I can ask you a few questions. Ask away. The voice in the void seemed very casual. Ning Qing immediately asked when he heard this, Senior, I know that there are 3 steps to Tao confirming. Why is the strength of the 3rd step powerhouses I met so different from each other? Also, this junior doesn't know much about the heaven and earth 5 fades. I hope that senior can guide me. Ning Qing felt very puzzled about how many fades the heaven and earth humans had. Feng Huangmei was also a 3rd step powerhouse, so why was his strength so garbage? Chapter 13-17. Of course. A voice came from the void, there are big and small Taos. The great Tao has a small decay, the minor Tao has a big decay, the illusion Tao has a false decay, and the fake Tao has no decay. Then I heard that there are 3 declines and 5 declines. Could it be that those who experience the 3 declines are the great Tao and those who experience the 5 declines are the minor Tao? Not necessarily. One can also become a great Tao after experiencing the 5 blights. Great blight and minor blight can't be measured by the number of times. I've even seen experts who haven't experienced Deva blight. Ning Qing didn't ask about this matter again. Combined with his previous insights, he felt that fusing his own Tao was the true grand Tao. There was no need to consider something like Deva's blight. Senior, I have another question. Senior, do you know who the owner of the Green Lotus of Fortune is? Ning Qing was ready to ask this question and leave, but he did not expect that after the voice in the void heard Ning Qing's question, it unexpectedly turned silent. Ning Qing waited for the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn but did not hear any answer, as such he was too lazy to wait any longer. Since the other party didn't want to say anything, then forget it. Regardless of whether that woman was the original owner of the Green Lotus of Creation or not, it was useless for him to know about it since she wanted to kill him. The only way to survive was to improve his strength. Thinking of this, Ning Qing cupped his fists and spoke, Many thanks for the advice, Senior. Goodbye. Wait. Just as Ning Qing was about to leave, the voice from the void once again called out to Ning Qing. Ning Qing looked back and spoke, Wait for this junior to think it over, then I will come to find Senior. Saying that, Ning Qing no longer paid any attention to the voice, and instantly escaped. He wasn't in a hurry to find a way out. Right now, he was looking for an opportunity to fuse with the Tao. As for the stainless water, he didn't want to casually take it out. Even if he wanted to take it out, he would have to wait until he wanted to leave and couldn't find a way out. An hour later, Ning Qing landed on top of a flattened mountain peak. He estimated that this mountain peak should be the remnant of a broken planet. One could sense all sorts of Tao runes of the great Tao of heaven and earth in the surroundings, but the flow of time and the heaven and earth laws were normal. The reason why Ning Qing stopped here was that he wanted to fuse his Tao here and look for opportunities for Tao unification. Ning Qing came to a standstill, and the surrounding world remained as chaotic as before. The laws of heaven and earth, which were either violent or gentle, continuously flowed within Ning Qing's spiritual sense. Ning Qing sensed the endless auras of the various grand Taos in this place before finally turning silent. 1 day, 10 days, 1 month, a primordial Tao charm started to form around Ning Qing's body before gradually surrounding him. As time passed, Ning Qing's entire person submerged within the endless Tao charm aura. At first, Ning Qing tried to actively integrate the Tao charm around him to find a way to reach Tao unification. In the end, Ning Qing completely immersed himself in it. Even his 6 senses had been stripped away and intertwined with the surrounding Tao charm aura. Some of the Tao charms and Tao thoughts that he had comprehended before but could not grasp the essence of it once again appeared in Ning Qing's mind. The great Tao leads to the same destination, but different paths. The same path leads to 100 worries. The mortal Tao has no roots, no stems, no leaves, no glory. The mortal Tao, trillions of roots, trillions of withering and flourishing. All things grow, all things wither, all things disperse, all things combine, all things are the Tao. The Tao is the resonance of heaven and earth, the unity of millions and millions, and then success can be seen. Billions of fused into one, billions of fused into one. The surging Taoist rhymes were like a vast sea of smoke. Ning Qing had not been in the slaughter world for a long time, as such, he did not know that the peace and stability of this place could change at any time. Even the giant peak he was on didn't exist in the first place. Instead, it was the result of the endless flow of Tao charm over countless years. At this moment, when Ning Qing was completely immersed in his own Tao enlightenment, the calm world around him began to turn violent. The chaotic laws also gradually permeated over, and the previously complete world laws also burst apart at this moment. Some of the chaotic and broken laws of time slowly enveloped Ning Qing, but Ning Qing, who was within it, was completely unaware of it. He didn't know that the laws of time in the space he was in had changed due to the changes in the world laws. It was no longer the ordinary flow of time. Instead, it was like a time array disk, with the flow of Tao charm flowing rapidly. When the vague Tao charm that was about to be grasped by the sudden flow of the laws of time, Ning Qing immediately lost the feeling of grasping it. Vaguely, Ning Qing felt that the laws of the space he was in had changed. It seemed to no longer be the complete world laws. In his perception, if he wanted to reach Tao unification, he must be in a space with complete world laws. It was just like how the Grand Essence Realm couldn't reach Tao unification because the world laws of the Grand Essence Realm were incomplete. But at this time, Ning Qing didn't want to wake up from that enlightenment. He had spent a lot of time entering this state, and just when he was about to grasp the feeling of Tao unification, it suddenly disappeared. If the world laws were broken, how could he understand the Tao? But why did he still have a feeling that he could touch his own Tao? Since he could grasp his own Tao under such circumstances, why did he have to pursue the Tao that others said was complete? What suited him was the best. So what if the world laws were incomplete? Since it was his Tao, it was his laws. The laws of heaven and earth were derived from heaven and earth, and his laws were derived from his Tao. Ning Qing started to understand his own Tao sense. At this time, not to mention the broken world laws around him, he even ignored the space wrapped in the Tao charm of time. Under this space, Ning Qing began to merge with his Tao. Some violent Tao charm blade lights passed through the Tao charm space wrapped around Ning Qing. But before these violent blade lights could hit Ning Qing's body started to distort strangely. Ning Qing avoided those Tao charm blade lights without exception. At this time, he was the Tao, and the Tao was him. He was infinitely close to his own Tao. 1 year, 10 years, peak primordial chaos, perfected primordial chaos. In this broken law space, Ning Qing didn't know how much time had passed, but he still continued to merge with his Tao sense. His cultivation continued to increase, but the Tao charm still didn't show any signs of merging. The mountain peak under his feet, which had its top shaved off, had long since disappeared in the endless violent flow of Tao charm. Even the place where Ning Qing stood wasn't the original place. But because his Tao was getting more and more integrated, it gathered all kinds of broken laws around him and wrapped him in the middle. His space was also tumbling in the slaughter world's Tao rune space. Time, space, in the space where Ning Qing had merged with his Tao, everything was chaotic, and none of the laws were complete. Ning Qing still didn't move. He even ignored the passage of time in the space where he was and continued to merge with his Tao sense. He was different from others. It hadn't been long since he advanced to primordial chaos. Even if he had the mysterious yellow formless and the comprehension of the origin, he lacked the accumulation of time. Tao integration had always been a natural process. Perhaps after countless years, he would suddenly encounter some kind of fortuitous encounter, and he would naturally succeed in Tao integration. But now, he had to force himself to Tao unification. Because if he didn't conform to the Tao, he would die. He had the comprehension of the recalling Bodhi seed and his own understanding of the Tao. Maybe these weren't enough, but he still came to the slaughter world. There were endless fallen powerhouses here. Even if these powerhouses fell, some of their Tao meanings still existed. The Tao meanings of these existences were either strong or weak. More importantly, there were all kinds of attributes of Tao charm and Tao meanings here. However, Ning Qing was a cultivator with a full spiritual root. It was even more difficult for such a cultivator to integrate his own Tao charm. The endless Tao charm aura of the slaughter world made him feel as if he had fallen into a Tao charm and Tao meaning repository. There were all kinds of attributes of Tao charm and Tao meaning here. 100 years, 1,000 years, after an unknown amount of time, Ning Qing's entire body shook, and he opened his eyes. The next moment, the billowing Tao charm tumbled around his body. The Tao charm rang out in the void, and Ning Qing felt that his whole body had become completely different. The laws between heaven and earth had become clearer. Even if he was in a space with broken laws, he felt that he was about to control the laws of this space. A clear understanding surged in Ning Qing's heart, and he suddenly roared. My Tao is the mysterious yellow formless, and I don't follow the mysterious yellow formless. My Tao fuses with my own Tao law, and all things return to one. My Tao breaks the laws and surpasses the origin. My Tao, merge. The billowing Tao charm tumbled endlessly after the word merge. Even if the slaughter world was filled with the roar of Tao charm, it could not stop the clear sound of Tao charm during Ning Qing's Tao unification. Powerful Tao charm laws emerged from Ning Qing's body. Even if he stood still in the distance, the aura around Ning Qing's body grew stronger and stronger. Gotcha. The broken time law space that originally wrapped around Ning Qing suddenly exploded without warning. However, the circulation of Tao charm around Ning Qing not only did not weaken, but it also grew stronger. The broken Tao charm laws hadn't even gotten close to Ning Qing when it was blasted away by the violent Tao charm aura. Ning Qing's heart surged, and he let out a long roar. His chest was filled with excitement and surging emotions. He grasped the extremely clear Tao runes. Regardless of whether the surrounding nomological aura was incomplete or complete, it became even clearer in his mind. At this moment, the person Ning Qing was most grateful to was Nianyan. Nianyan had told him not to rely too much on the mysterious yellow bead, or even to use the mysterious yellow bead for Tao unification. He did have the idea of using the mysterious yellow bead for Tao unification, but now he felt the power and bright prospects of his own Tao unification. Not everyone could do it, but he did it. Boom! Another roar sounded, and Ning Cheng looked at the creation divine spear that suddenly floated in surprise. He didn't expect that after his Tao unification, the creation divine spear would also devour the Tao charm of heaven and earth and successfully advance from a middle-grade spirit artifact to a high-grade spirit artifact. Chapter 13:18. Outside a spatial rift in the heaven and earth divine tomb, Xingshi looked up at the void. The rumbling of Tao runes continued. Given her experience, how could she not know that someone had succeeded in Tao integration? She also knew who this person was. It was the weakling she had been chasing before. Her expression was a bit unsightly. She had been on guard, but this ant had still entered the god's mausoleum mound. Moreover, he had succeeded in path integration. Flames of rage welled up in her heart at the thought of how the two people she was going to kill had both succeeded in the Tao integration stage right under her nose. At the same time, she also felt a little regretful. If she had directly blocked the heavens beyond of heaven and earth instead of using her spiritual force clone, how could this weakling have been able to reach Tao integration? He would have been killed by her long ago. It was a pity that she didn't take it seriously before. The reason why she didn't pay much attention to it was that she wasn't sure if Ning Cheng possessed a good fortune treasure. It wasn't until Ning Cheng shattered her spiritual sense avatar that she gradually regained clarity. Xingshi hesitated for a long time as she looked at the Tao runes roaring through the spatial rift. In the end, she gave up on entering. Others might not know about the killing world in the mound of the god's grave, but she knew it clearly. There were too many experts here. Even if she went in now, there was a possibility that she would die. Xingshi clenched her fists. Should she continue chasing? When Ning Cheng and Yi Mo used the Seven Bridges God art together, she suffered a small loss. Now that both of them had successfully fused their Tao, what would happen to her if they used their Seven Bridges divine art? Not to mention Ning Cheng, she hadn't even been able to kill that insect called Yi Mo after chasing him for so long. After staring at the crack for a long time, Xingshi finally gave up the idea of continuing to chase after Ning Cheng and Yi Mo. In her original thoughts, Ning Cheng might not succeed in Tao unification even after 10,000 years. Unexpectedly, Ning Cheng succeeded in Tao unification in less than half a year. Seeing that the strength of the two experts who might also possess creation treasures was getting closer to hers, Xingshi made a prompt decision. She wanted to perfect the green lotus of creation as soon as possible and then perfect her Tao. She was wasting her time here to urge her opponent to improve. Even she could guess that if not for her coercion, Ning Cheng would not have escaped to the slaughter realm. If he couldn't escape into the slaughter realm, he wouldn't be able to succeed in Tao integration so quickly. Regardless of whether Ning Cheng could come out or not, she could not continue to stay in this place. As the owner of a good fortune treasure, once Xingshi made up her mind, she decisively turned around and rushed out of the tomb of the god's grave without any hesitation. Ning Cheng didn't know if it was just an illusion, but he felt that after he reached Tao unification, the broken Tao charm laws around him seemed to have weakened a lot. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept out, but it was still grayish. His spiritual consciousness could not reach any further than that. After reaching Tao unification, Ning Cheng immediately wanted to go out. If he could find the sacred Tao sect leader, the two of them could join forces and use the Seven Bridges. Then, he might not have to fear that woman. After all, when he was at primordial chaos, the difference in strength was too great. It was not that Ning Cheng did not want to stay here. There were many dangers here, and even with his current strength, he could be killed at any time. There were also many treasures in the slaughter world. Staying here would definitely have a great harvest. Ning Cheng felt anxious about the safety of the Grand Essence realm. Therefore, he had indeed arranged a backup plan. It wasn't a good thing to entrust these backup plans to someone else. It had taken him more than 1,000 years to reach Tao unification in the laws of time and space. Ning Qing didn't know how much time had passed outside the slaughter world. After a day, Ning Qing realized that the voice in the void wasn't talking nonsense. At this moment, not to mention saying anything, he couldn't even figure out the direction. In this place, there was an endless gray void, a boundless aura of Tao runes, and an endless illusion of divine arts clashing against each other. The only thing missing was a way out. He had to go back and find that voice in the void and trade with him. Just as Ning Qing thought of this, a horrifying void burst open. Tao charm filled the void, and the laws of space collapsed and shattered. In the void that seemed flawless to him, at this moment, cracks and gullies suddenly exploded like spider webs, forming endless black cracks one after another. Was this the Tao charm image left behind from the Great War? Ning Qing looked at the scene in front of him in shock. If the remnant Tao charm image was this horrifying, then just how terrifying was the Great Creation War? Did that cobweb-like void crack lead to another interface? Could one even leave the slaughter world through it? Ning Qing thought of this in his heart, but he didn't dare to go over. Even if he succeeded in reaching Tao unification, in front of this horrifying Tao charm aura, only death awaited him as soon as he approached. At this moment, a cyan lotus shadow suddenly appeared. The lotus shadow and a huge bronze bell collided, and the Tao charm exploded once again. Ning Qing was completely stunned. He felt sure that the cyan lotus shadow was one of the 5 great good fortune treasures, the good fortune azure lotus. What kind of treasure was that bronze bell? After clashing head-on with the good fortune azure lotus, it didn't even leave a single crack. It was simply too exaggerated. Sure enough, there were more than just good fortune treasures in the world. Ning Qing grew even more excited. He suddenly thought that if he could find the whereabouts of that bronze bell, thinking of such a treasure, Ning Qing even forgot about comprehending the spirit technique laws within it. Instead, he wholeheartedly focused on the location of that bronze bell. Just as Ning Qing thought of this, he felt a subtle cold aura ignore his domain and directly penetrate into his sea of consciousness. A chill and extreme discomfort washed over him, followed by a burst of dizziness and pain in his sea of consciousness. Did someone try to possess him while he was watching the battle? Ning Qing quickly affirmed it. That's right, someone did try to possess him. Ning Qing laughed out of anger. Someone actually tried to possess him. One had to know that what he feared the most was possession. However, Ning Qing quickly tensed up. He couldn't bring out the full power of the everlasting Blue Thunder City. Even the wall of fire created by the celestial river flame couldn't block the soul possessing him. It was the first time that Ning Qing saw a soul possessing him ignore his celestial river flame. One had to know that any soul or essence spirit would have an innate fear in front of flames. Moreover, what was the grade of his celestial river flame? It was one of the most powerful flames in existence. A top-grade sacred flame in the starry sky sea of consciousness? No, there's also the origin aura. The soul possessing Ning Cheng's body within Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness spoke up in an increasingly surprised tone. In the end, this surprise turned into a pleasant surprise. This is the aura of a good fortune treasure. The origin of a good fortune treasure, could it be the mysterious yellow bead? Ha ha ha. A wild laugh erupted, and the next moment, a giant hand condensed from black mist directly passed through Ning Cheng's celestial river flame, wanting to obliterate Ning Cheng's spiritual wisdom. Ning Cheng then recalled that if the other party was ordinary, how could it infiltrate his sea of consciousness when he wasn't paying attention? One had to know that he was a Tao perfection expert. This fellow who wanted to possess him was definitely a powerhouse among powerhouses. Spiritual consciousness explosion. Boom. At this moment, Ning Qing didn't care about the damage to his sea of consciousness. His spiritual consciousness explosion continued to erupt, rolling up a spiritual consciousness blade light as it shot towards the soul possessing him. Sure enough, under Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness explosion, the essence spirit paused for a moment, and the giant hand condensed from black mist also slowed down. Ning Cheng's heart sank, but he didn't feel happy about it. The reason why this soul didn't fear the sacred flame wasn't because of its high level, but because of a very special reason. His spiritual consciousness explosion could only suppress this soul for a short period of time and couldn't hurt it at all. At this moment, Ning Cheng went through the ice-sealed space, time-sealed 3 realms, and even the order-breaking finger. But to his despair, he found that nothing could restrain this soul. The giant hand condensed from Tao Charm couldn't stop this essence spirit from wreaking havoc in his sea of consciousness. What to do? The giant hand condensed from Tao Charm gradually shattered Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness explosion and once again tried to crush Ning Cheng's consciousness. 7 bridges, and the 7 bridges spirit technique. How could Ning Cheng care about the fact that he hadn't brought out the 7 bridges in his sea of consciousness? At this moment, he brought out the 4th Yellow Springs Bridge without hesitation. The Cyan Arch Bridge had just taken shape when the tumbling Yellow River swept down. The billowing Tao Charm, along with a rich netherworld aura, swept towards the soul within Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness. The 4th Yellow Springs Bridge. Is this the underworld realm's 7 reincarnation bridges? The soul possessing Ning Cheng exclaimed in surprise. Ning Cheng's essence spirit stood on the 4th Yellow Springs Bridge, waving the rolling Tao Charm of the long river. Amid the exclamation of the soul possessing Ning Cheng, the Yellow Springs Bridge directly locked the soul and twisted the big black hand back. Ning Cheng felt pleasantly surprised. Although the Yellow Springs Bridge couldn't kill the soul possessing him, it could at least bind it. Under the violent struggle of the soul possessing Ning Cheng, he did not hesitate to bring out the 5th reincarnation bridge. Under the long orange arch bridge, the pitch-black mist millstone began to grind, and the endless Tao Charm turned into nothingness under this millstone. Whether it was a person or a spirit, a soul or a corporeal body, as long as it fell on this black millstone, it would turn into an illusion. Reincarnation, reincarnation, the body can go, but the person can't live. The Tao Charm on the reincarnation bridge grew stronger and stronger. The soul possessing Ning Cheng, which had already been sealed by the Yellow Springs Bridge, let out a sharp screech under the Tao Charm of the black millstone. Ning Cheng felt shocked in his heart. This soul was too powerful. Since the reincarnation bridge's black millstone couldn't kill him, it showed that this fellow was an extraordinary person in his previous life. The 6th Other Shore Bridge, emerge. The 6th Other Shore Bridge had not yet fully formed, but the Tao Charm aura had already condensed. As the Tao Charm circulated, the aura in the middle of the red and white broken bridge grew more and more mournful. The red spider lily on the red broken bridge and the mandala flower on the white broken bridge also grew clearer and clearer under this mournful Tao Charm. Flowers bloom and fade for billions of years, flowers and leaves never to be seen again. The soul originally on the reincarnation bridge's black millstone suddenly let out a sharp screech, and a vague arm was directly swept away by the reincarnation bridge's big millstone, falling between the broken bridges of the reincarnation bridge. After the reincarnation bridge fell into this broken arm, the Tao Charm aura grew even more mournful, and the red spider lily and the white mandala flower grew even more enchanting. Chapter 1319. Stop, let me leave the rebirth bridge. Let's make a deal. The spirit soul in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness screamed. With the help of the 6th Other Shore Bridge, he had no chance to escape. What's more, as his spirit soul shattered, the 6th Other Shore Bridge grew stronger and stronger, which made things worse for him. You want to take my body and still want to live? Ning Cheng didn't care about the spirit soul's begging for mercy. The Tao Charm of the 7 bridges rolled down and took advantage of the spirit soul's scream to send it under the rebirth bridge's great millstone. Pure essence spirit Tao Charm seeped out of the rebirth bridge's great millstone and seeped into the 6th Other Shore Bridge. The 6th Other Shore Bridge became clearer, and the Tao Charm in the middle of the broken bridge started to flow. Endless information poured into Ning Cheng's mind, which made Ning Cheng overjoyed. Sure enough, one who survived a disaster was bound to have good fortune. This fellow who wanted to take over his body and ended up getting killed by him was definitely a powerful expert. Unfortunately, the information was a mess, and some parts were missing. Ning Cheng had to spend some time to sort it out. Not bad. Not only did you succeed in Dao unification, but you also killed a powerhouse who wanted to take over your body. It looks like I underestimated you. Ning Cheng put away the 7 bridges spirit technique in his sea of consciousness, and the familiar voice came again. It's you. Ning Cheng immediately took a few steps back and looked at the void in front of him vigilantly. The voice clearly didn't come from here. Did this fellow follow him and also want to take over his body? The voice in the void smiled, yes, it's me. Don't worry, I won't try to take over your body. Don't say that I didn't intend to take over your body. Even if I wanted to take over your body, I wouldn't be stupid enough to do such a suicidal thing with such a powerful spirit soul. I saw that you succeeded in Dao unification, so I came looking for you. How about it, you also see that there's no way out of here. Let's cooperate, and I'll show you a way out. Ning Cheng hesitated a little. These old monsters were extremely powerful, and he didn't want to fall into their schemes. Seeing Ning Cheng still hesitating, the voice in the void said with some displeasure, don't think that I know the way out is easy. It took me tens of millions of years to find it. If you weren't the only buyer, I would never have used taintless water to trade. Kid, don't take it for granted. Regarding this sentence, Ning Cheng actually believed it. Just a moment ago, he had searched for a long time, but really could not find any way out. Do you know the expert who tried to possess me, senior? Ning Cheng was ready to take out the stainless water and exchange it with the other party. However, before the exchange, he naturally wanted to ask a few more questions. After all, the large amount of information he had obtained was messy. He needed to sort it out and slowly analyze it. The voice in the void eased a little. There are thousands of experts in the slaughter world, how could I possibly know them all? But the guy who took over your body just now shouldn't be any weaker than me. In the slaughter world, are there many lucky survivors like Senior? Ning Cheng quickly asked. When the voice in the void heard Ning Cheng's words, it suddenly burst into laughter. However, Ning Cheng could clearly hear a trace of sadness in that laughter. Ning Cheng did not speak. After the voice finished laughing, it was silent for a while, before it spoke in a low voice, am I lucky? Can an unlucky guy like me, whose physical body is broken and whose divine soul is about to collapse, be called lucky? Compared to the vast majority of the fallen experts, you're considered lucky, right? Ning Cheng immediately retorted. The slaughter world was littered with corpses and weapon fragments. Countless experts had definitely fallen here. The voice in the void sneered, the vast majority of the fallen experts. Bah! Only ants and cannon fodder like us are the targets of death. How many of those experts have fallen? They either hid in the dark to restore their strength or left the slaughter world a long time ago. You're right, the vast majority of them have fallen. But the vast majority of them are not experts, but cannon fodder like us. Even in the slaughter world, there are countless experts with intact physical bodies and complete essence spirits. Don't think that you're free and unfettered right now. It's just that you're lucky. No one cares about a puny Dao unification holy emperor like you. Otherwise, you would have fallen a long time ago. Ning Cheng was shocked. He no longer had the thought of finding a way out by himself. He just wanted to get out immediately. If he met that powerhouse, wouldn't he just be throwing away his life? Moreover, wouldn't the noise caused by his Dao unification have already alerted others? The voice in the void seemed to have seen through Ning Cheng's worries and said with a chuckle, don't worry about the noise caused by your Dao unification. That kind of Dao unification was indeed not small. But you're just a puny Dao unification holy emperor. Ordinary people wouldn't put you in their eyes and wouldn't even bother to come out to look for you. But if you run around here and bump into an expert who is recovering his cultivation, no one would be able to save you. Ning Qing didn't quite believe the words of this essence spirit at this time. Senior, when I was in the outside world, I saw the good fortune green lotus and the good fortune indestructible axe condensed, right? Those who possess the good fortune treasures should be the experts among the experts, right? Why did they also fall? The good fortune green lotus and the good fortune indestructible axe condensed. The voice in the void suddenly muttered to himself when it heard this news. Then it murmured again, they're here, these bastards are here again. Are they done? No, this daddy has to leave this damned place quickly. I don't want to get involved in this mess anymore. I don't have time to talk to you. Are you willing to trade or not? If you don't want to help me, then I'll find a way myself. The voice in the void suddenly lost its patience. Ning Qing calmly spoke up, of course, I'm naturally willing to trade with Senior. But for now, I have to ask Senior to answer a few questions of mine. Kid, hurry up and find the taintless water, and I'll answer your questions. Otherwise, forget it. The voice in the void's voice grew more and more anxious. Ning Qing raised his hand, and a blue bottle appeared in the palm of his hand. He raised the bottle and spoke in a leisurely voice, this Tao friend, I have a bottle of taintless water. Moreover, I used the illusory sea-crossing crystal to store it. Whether you want to trade or not, it's up to you. Since this fellow kept calling him kid, Ning Qing also didn't bother to call the other party Senior. After Ning Qing took out the bottle of taintless water, the voice in the void suddenly spoke up, trade, Tao friend, how do you want to trade? Ning Qing calmly put away the bottle and spoke, first answer my questions, after you answer them, we can then trade. That won't do. We have to negotiate the conditions first. Will answering the question also be a bargaining chip? Although the voice in the void had calmed down a bit, Ning Qing could still feel the excitement in it. Ning Qing turned around and walked away, it doesn't matter to me whether we trade or not. I don't believe that I can't find a way out. Don't, I'll trade with you. An unconditional trade. You can ask the question. The voice in the void grew anxious and quickly called out to Ning Qing. He wasn't afraid that Ning Qing would find a way out. He was afraid that Ning Qing would die before he could find a way out. A puny Tao Perfection Holy Emperor was nothing in this place. If this Tao Perfection Holy Emperor still had the taintless water, then it would be a delicious cake. You said that most of those powerhouses are still alive. Why are the good fortune treasures scattered everywhere outside? Ning Qing once again brought up this question. The voice in the void sneered, good fortune treasures are scattered everywhere. Could it be that the owners of the good fortune treasures have fallen? If the owners of the good fortune treasures died so easily, then they wouldn't have been able to obtain the good fortune treasures. Ning Qing's heart tightened, and he heard the voice continue, during the war back then, even those who possessed the good fortune treasures were severely injured. Apart from the owner of the indestructible axe, none of the others died. As for the rest, none of them perished. The reason why those creation treasures were scattered outside. Why? Ning Qing asked eagerly. You're right to ask this question. Ordinary people don't even know. It's because the owners of the good fortune treasures wanted to find someone to nurture the good fortune treasures. After the good fortune war, the laws of the good fortune treasures were shattered, and the Tao source was missing. If you want to perfect the heaven and earth Tao source laws of the good fortune treasures and form a good fortune world again, you must find the Tao source. For example, the good fortune jade disc needs the heavenly Tao yin yang dawn treasure, the golden page world needs the 5 elements, etc. Ning Qing clenched his fists and asked, does it mean that after someone perfected these good fortune treasures, the original owners of the good fortune treasures would come to snatch the fruits of victory? The voice in the void smiled faintly, you can't say that they snatched the fruits of victory, because these good fortune treasures originally belonged to them. It's just that they don't have the time to do these things. What's more, after the good fortune treasures are perfected, they also need a good fortune spirit. Ning Cheng tried to slow down his tone as much as possible. I understand. When the original owner of the good fortune treasure takes back the good fortune treasure, does that mean that the person who perfects the good fortune treasure would become the good fortune treasure's spirit of good fortune? You're right. That's exactly what you mean. The voice in the void even suspected that Ning Cheng had a good fortune treasure. Otherwise, why would he ask this? Are there many Tao sources of good fortune treasures? For example, the 5 elements of the Golden Page world. Do they exist in every positional plane? Ning Cheng's heart no longer felt the joy of successfully reaching Tao unification. His mysterious yellow bead was a fish that someone deliberately raised, but he didn't know about it until now. Now that the fish had grown up, it was time to serve it on the table. How is that possible? Take the Golden Page world for example. The reason why the 5 elements can take form is because the original Tao source laws of the Golden Page world were broken. These Tao source laws fell back into the vast universe and then condensed into shape. In other words, there is only one set of the 5 elements of the Golden Page world. After the voice in the void finished speaking, it seemed to feel that it wasn't perfect, so it added, the good fortune treasure's laws were broken, and after the Tao source laws reformed in the vast universe, it had nothing to do with the original good fortune treasure. Therefore, even if the owner of the good fortune treasure looked for it, he might not be able to find it. This requires a person with great luck to find it. This is also one of the reasons why the original owner of the good fortune treasure deliberately lost it. Chapter 1320. Do you know who the original owners of these good fortune treasures were? Ning Cheng had already calmed down and asked in a gentle tone. Since he had obtained the mysterious yellow bead, then don't even think of taking it away from his hands. They wanted him to be the spirit of creation. Stop dreaming. Even if he died, he wouldn't become someone else's creation spirit. As for inquiring about the original owner of the good fortune treasure, Ning Cheng wanted to know who the original owner of the good fortune mysterious yellow bead was. At this time, he finally understood why when he obtained the mysterious yellow bead, the information he obtained from the mysterious yellow bead stated that the mysterious yellow bead had gone through 17 masters. The meaning on the surface was naturally false. The real master of the mysterious yellow bead was not the 17th master on the surface, but the first master that he did not have any information about. As for the next 17 masters, they were just cannon fodder to complete the mysterious yellow bead. If he hadn't come here, he wouldn't have known that he was just a spare cannon fodder. The voice in the void went silent. After a while, it said, "It's not that I don't want to say it, but I don't dare to. I can't be sure if those experts are in the slaughter world or not. If the owner of a good fortune treasure is in the slaughter world, they will immediately know my name. Let alone saying it out loud, I wouldn't even dare to engrave it on a jade slip. As for the consequences, I can't bear it. I don't think you can either." No wonder when he asked this fellow who the owner of the good fortune azure lotus was, this fellow didn't speak. One last question. If the owner of the good fortune treasure wants to retrieve the good fortune treasure, how long would it take? Ning Cheng thought about how he had already reached the Tao unification realm and felt even more uneasy. The voice in the void said faintly, when you reach the 3rd step of Tao validation, or when the owner of the creation treasure perfects his strength and reappears. Ning Cheng did not continue to ask, but instead took out the stainless water and spoke, "Let's make a deal. In addition to giving me pointers on how to get out, you also need to give me." After hesitating for a few breaths, Ning Cheng spoke up, "I have a spirit flame, but if I want to advance it to a sacred flame, I lack." Not waiting for Ning Cheng to finish, a jade box appeared in the void. This is a bright light core, also known as the moon core. With this material, you can upgrade any of your divine flames. Ning Cheng grabbed the radiant core, but he still could not believe it. He knew that the old things inside were very rich, but he did not expect them to be rich to such an extent. One had to know that he had to go through a lot of hardships to find a sun's core, which allowed his celestial river flame to evolve. Now, the other party had casually tossed out a lunar core, not even asking for a promise. It was a pity that he had lost the storage ring of the primordial spirit that he had killed earlier. Until now, he still did not know where that fellow's storage ring was. By the way, I killed a guy who tried to take over my body. Why didn't he? There's nothing, right? Don't even think about taking the things of the strong. Every expert could open up their own space, and only they could open up this space. Even if you kill him, you won't be able to get their things. The voice in the void interrupted Ning Cheng's words. After quickly replying to Ning Cheng, it then spoke, I need 2 drops of stainless water. After saying that, he threw out a jade strip. This jade strip records the way out. I also have an array flag here. When you reach the exit, use this array flag. Open up my own spatial world. Ning Cheng shook his head and did not think about it anymore. This voice in the void showed such magnanimity, which made Ning Cheng appreciate it very much. Regardless of whether the other party was pretending or something else, Ning Cheng liked this kind of straightforward and not procrastinating personality the most. After receiving these 2 things, Ning Cheng only swept out with his spiritual consciousness before throwing the bottle in his hand into the void without hesitation. Sure enough, the Tao charm in the void swept out, and his jade bottle disappeared without a trace. Ning Cheng took out another bottle, but this time, before he could throw the bottle out, an array flag fell into Ning Cheng's hands. After obtaining the array flag, Ning Cheng also threw the second jade bottle into the void. Ha! The laughter from the void sounded extremely happy. You're very good, a straightforward transaction partner. I like doing business with you. I thought that you could only give me 1 drop of stainless water at most. I didn't expect you to give me 2 drops, and even be so generous. Ning Cheng's straightforwardness made the primordial spirit in the void feel very satisfied. Before I leave, I have one more question to ask. Since you have the jade strip and the array flag to get out, why don't you leave by yourself? Ning Cheng waited for the other party to finish before asking another question. The voice in the void sighed, because there is a great spiritual technique sealing this place. You don't have to guess too much, it has nothing to do with you. Because you haven't touched that great karma yet, you should leave quickly. If you stay here for a long time, maybe you will end up like me, unable to get out immediately. Hearing these words, Ning Cheng immediately thought of the karma cultivation method. Could it be that the owner of the 3rd-ranked karma cultivation method had used a karma great spiritual technique here? Whether it was or not, it was not something he could or wanted to manage right now. Goodbye. Ning Cheng was not in the mood to stay here any longer. He cupped his fists and turned around to leave. You are a good friend, but I can only give you 1 sentence. If you have something you shouldn't have, then just throw it away again and choose reincarnation. Of course, I'm not sure if reincarnation is useful or not, but it is the only way out. Behind Ning Cheng, the voice in the void sounded out again. Apparently, the voice in the void had already guessed that Ning Cheng had a good fortune treasure on him. This sentence was said out of good intentions, to remind Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng didn't want to go into reincarnation. He followed the directions on the jade slip and quickly fled. No matter how many dangers there were in the slaughter realm, he had thrown them aside. Even if that woman called Xing Shi was waiting for him outside, he had to go out. Compared to the original owner of the good fortune treasure, Xing Shi was much less of a threat. If he met Xing Shi, the worst outcome would be death. But if he met the original owner of the good fortune treasure, he would not only die but become a slave. Chasing Bull might have a good life behind him, but that was because he didn't treat Chasing Bull as a slave. However, others might not think the same as him. In front of those good fortune treasures, he might not even be qualified to be a slave. In another corner of the heaven and earth god tomb mound, hundreds of millions of miles away from the slaughter realm where Ning Cheng was. A blue-robed youth with a purple long sword on his back stopped in front of a cliff. It was Yi Mo who had separated from Ning Cheng. She didn't chase after him. Clearly, she went after Ning Cheng. Yi Mo shook his head. Although the chances of escaping in the Heaven and Earth God Tomb Mound were much greater than outside, he still felt Ning Cheng was more dangerous. Even if he wanted to help, he couldn't. He was only at the Tao integration realm, but Shi's strength was too powerful. If he wasn't experienced, he would have long fallen into her hands. Now, he could only give some good wishes to that person called Ning Cheng, wishing him good luck. The Heaven and Earth God Tomb Mound was filled with broken law Tao wave whirlpools. Since he got rid of Shi, Yi Mo didn't plan to keep running for his life here. This cliff was a bit strange. One side seemed to have been carved by a knife and one could even see his own shadow. The other side was rugged as though it was bombed by cannonballs. As soon as Yi Mo's spirit sense landed on this cliff, he noticed something was wrong. He instantly caught a chi of endless life force. Amidst the boundless vitality, there was also an aura of death. Wait, other than life force and death, there was also a huge amount of fortune Tao wave. It was as though this cliff controlled a person's life and death, fate. Yi Mo suddenly thought of something. Then, he caught an even more vast Tao wave chi. Xian Tao change, each life, great fate is formless, its source is uncertain, the Tao wave chi was faint and intermittent. Just when Yi Mo was confused, 3 big words appeared before him, Fate Cliff. This is the great fate chant of the 10 great cultivation methods. Yi Mo suddenly woke up. The fate cultivation method was indeed in the Heaven and Earth God Tomb Mound. At this moment, he was very excited. The number 1 cultivation method of the 10 great cultivation methods was naturally the fortune cultivation method. But strangely, his golden page world was perfected and he even succeeded in Tao integration. However, he could only learn the fortune cultivation method. He didn't learn any creation god art. Now that he saw the fate cultivation method, how could he let it go? Yi Mo's spirit sense seeped into the cliff and the Tao waves grew denser. A faintly discernible crevice appeared before him. In this crevice, the fate Tao wave was even more vast. Yi Mo took a step forward and sunk into the vast Tao wave. Heavens beyond. After Ning Cheng left, it was peaceful for a while. As the news that the beyond of heaven and earth was going to redivide the realms through a battle spread, people from various realms around the beyond of heaven and earth set foot there one after another. They were all powerful people. Other than these people, almost all the masters of Pill Tao, Formation Tao, Forgery Tao, and Rune Tao in the vast universe gathered at heaven's beyond. As for the Heaven Lord estate, it was no longer Feng Huangmei's residence. When there weren't many people here and Ning Cheng was still here, Feng Huangmei was a little tough. As more and more powerful people came, especially the 7 Saw realm and 7 Saw Duan clan people, Feng Huangmei was kicked out of the Heaven Lord estate. If it wasn't for the fact that the realms couldn't find a better way to divide heavens beyond, the competition method would have long been abandoned. Although Feng Huangmei wasn't in charge of the Heaven Lord estate, it was still full of people. Feng Huangmei was there too, but he could only sit at the corner. As for Shilin and the others, they weren't qualified to enter the hall at all. Everyone, since the geniuses and powerful people from all realms have arrived at heavens beyond, I suggest we bring forward the time of the competition. An expert with a fierce aura stood up and said with cupped fists. He was Duan Yuwu, who had been defeated by Tang Tsongyin. He was sitting there, but Tang Tsongyin had long escaped from heavens beyond. No one spoke. Even Sang Wanglong, whom Ning Cheng had asked for help, was silent. Feng Huangmei sighed in his heart. When he received the gift, he patted his chest loudly. Sang Wanglong even said that it was fine to postpone the competition. Reality proved that no matter how good the gift was, it could only make the recipient feel good at that moment. When the benefits came, the mentality of receiving the gift was no longer there. Chapter 13:21. No one objected, not even Sang Wanglong. Duan Shiza of the Duan clan of 7 Soas had arrived. He was a genuine Unity Realm expert. Ning Cheng had said that he would come back, but it had already been nearly a year, yet there was still no news from him. Sang Wanglong did not stand up and speak. It was not that he did not care about the promise he made to Ning Cheng. Duan Shiza had ordered people to surround the sacred Dao sect the moment he arrived in the beyond of heaven and earth. Of course, this had nothing to do with Ning Cheng's promise. The most important thing was that Ding Jie had taken the few people who came with Ning Cheng to the sacred Dao sect. With the help of the defensive formation, he was only at death's door. Not to mention that Sang Wanglong was clearly aware that the reason the sacred Dao sect's defensive formation hadn't been broken through until now wasn't because Duan Shiza didn't have the ability, and it was because he was fishing. Only by attacking the sacred Dao sect's defense array would the sacred Dao sect master return. Similarly, that cultivator called Ning Cheng would also return. Since he could not guarantee the safety of the people brought by Ning Cheng, then even if he stood up to speak up for Ning Cheng, he estimated that he would not be able to obtain Ning Cheng's friendship. Moreover, Ning Cheng's whereabouts were currently unknown. Who knew if he had escaped by himself? Was it worth it to offend a Unity Realm expert for a primordial chaos sacred emperor that he had no information about and was hard to befriend? Another point was that the competition had been brought forward, which was also what everyone wanted. Sang Wanglong could stop it, but there was no need for him to be the bad guy. Seeing that no one spoke, Duan Yuwu continued, since everyone has agreed, then let's bring forward our fight. In addition, Heavens Beyond will be open to the public when the battle begins. Anyone can leave Heavens Beyond at will and go to any plane. Sang Wanglong frowned when he heard this. The beyond of heaven and earth was closed. No one was allowed to leave this place and go to other planes before the battle ended. This was an agreement that everyone had made. It was not something that he could just casually promise Ning Cheng to participate in the competition. It could be said that the competition would affect everyone's interests and couldn't be stopped. However, before the battle ended, the beyond of heaven and earth was not allowed to go to other planes. This did not affect anyone's interests, so it could be stopped. There was also a more important point: if he did not speak about the postponement of the match, then at most it would mean that he and Ning Cheng could not become friends. If he released the restriction of going to various planes in Heavens Beyond before the battle, it would not be impossible for him and Ning Cheng to become friends. Instead, they would definitely become enemies. This was because the Duan clan of the 7 Pagodas had to destroy the Great Simplicity Realm after leaving the Heavens Beyond. He had long heard of the arrogance and vengeance of the Duan clan of 7 Soas. But if Ning Cheng didn't die, becoming enemies with such a person with such a promising future was something that even Sang Wanglong did not want. It was fine if they couldn't become friends, but they couldn't become enemies either. No, we've already discussed this matter. Before the battle ends, you naturally can't leave the beyond of heaven and earth. Feng Huangmei stood up and said before Sang Wanglong could speak. Even though Huang Feng knew that he had no right to speak in this place, he had no choice but to speak. The reason Ning Cheng had given them 5 drops of quintessential essence of the universe was because he wanted to drag the Duan clan of the 7 Pagodas into the beyond of heaven and earth. Once the Duan clan of the 7 Pagodas left the beyond of heaven and earth, the Great Simplicity Realm where Ning Cheng was would definitely be destroyed. He did not believe that the Duan clan of the 7 Pagodas would leave the beyond of heaven and earth just to have fun. Given the Duan clan of the 7 Pagodas, they would definitely destroy the Great Simplicity Realm. Duan Yuwu's face turned cold, and a trace of sarcasm appeared in his eyes. Sang Wanglong knew that Duan Yuwu would definitely attack Feng Huangmei next, and it was not impossible for him to kill Feng Huangmei. He definitely could not wait for Duan Yuwu to speak. Once Duan Yuwu spoke, he would no longer be able to speak. Even though there were 5 people receiving the gift, he was actually the leader. Ning Cheng had given him the gift and asked him to send it out, which meant that if anything happened, Ning Cheng would look for him directly. Others could continue to play dead, but Sang Wanlong had to speak. Daoist Duan, I think Daoist Feng is right. Since it's an agreement made by everyone, we shouldn't break it casually. Brother Shiza's strength is the highest here, but we can't ignore the other realms. I suggest that we discuss it. Sang Wanlong finally stood in front of Duan Yuwu and spoke up. Seeing Sang Wanlong take the lead, Feng Huangmei felt relieved and spoke again, Daoist Zhua, Daoist Tian, Daoist Yan, and Daoist Yi, what do you think? Duan Yuwu felt even more unhappy when Feng Huangmei called out his name. He wished he could immediately raise his hand and slap Feng Huangmei to death. The few people named by Feng Huangmei had also received Ning Cheng's gift. Now that Sang Wanlong and Feng Huangmei called out their names, they could only stand up and casually agree with Sang Wanlong's words. Originally, they thought that if they did not stand up and speak, the Duan clan of the 7 pagodas would definitely send them benefits. However, they did not expect that Feng Huangmei would call them out, which made them even angrier with Feng Huangmei. Xing Shi's power made him realize that even if he killed someone stronger than him, he wouldn't be able to face those peak beings. Only special fortuitous encounters could increase his strength, and the Fate Divine art was what he needed. Instead of retreating, Yi Mo sped up. After walking 100 meters, his eyes lit up. In a stone room, a pure white stone ball floated in the air. Beneath the stone orb were countless skeletons. The aura of the great Tao of Destiny seeped out from the stone orb. At the same time, endless Taoist rhymes were swept over and seeped into the stone ball. With Yi Mo's experience, he knew this stone ball wouldn't be here for no reason. But since he came, he didn't plan to leave. As soon as Yi Mo entered the stone room, he felt his life chi disappear like a raging wave. The shadow of death loomed over. With each step he took, the life chi disappeared more than double. No wonder Ku Yushin wanted to run. His life chi was sucked dry here. No wonder there were so many skeletons here. These skeletons all wanted to take away the destiny cultivation method stone orb. Yi Mo took a deep breath and the life force of the chaos tree circulated. His lost life force was instantly replenished by the chaos tree. The distance that other people couldn't cross in their entire life was just a few steps for him. Thud. Yi Mo grabbed the stone ball in the air. The next moment, endless life chi and Tao wave seeped over and completely enveloped him. He didn't even need to cultivate now. That chaotic chi would make him explode. If he didn't have the fortune cultivation method, he would have exploded already. 3-birth Tao chant ran like crazy. That endless Tao wave chi and powerful God essence turned into cultivation level and knowledge. Tao integration middle stage, Tao integration tertiary stage, crack. When the Tao waves on the stone ball calmed down completely, Yi Mo had reached Tao integration tertiary stage. Violent God essence and Tao wave rumbled in his body. Yi Mo knew that this was like absorbing star grand method. These Tao waves and God essence weren't cultivated by him. He would need to spend countless years in solitary cultivation to truly digest these things and become a true Tao integration tertiary stage. A sharp roar sounded. A power that almost grabbed the world smashed at Yi Mo. Purple sword ray sliced across, and that power was stopped by the endless twisted sword runes. At the same time, Yi Mo tore open the void of the heaven-earth god tomb mound and disappeared. Behind him, there was only the shrill screams of madness. Chapter 1322. Ning Qing once again stood on the edge of the Jiaoyang Sea and stared at the inextinguishable axe pattern that broke through the void. Initially, he was almost killed by this axe line, which caused him to end up in the Sand General City. This time, he had to see how powerful this axe pattern was. He did not believe that he would not be able to deal with this axe pattern after reaching Tao integration. He brought out the creation divine spear and rolled up thousands of spear pattern Tao runes. Boom! The space exploded and Dao runes splashed everywhere. The inextinguishable axe pattern, which had almost killed Ning Cheng, collapsed under Ning Cheng's spear and blew up the surrounding space completely. Ning Cheng also took a few steps back before he stood still. He looked at the void that had already become quiet and calmed down. Compared to the early-stage primordial chaos, his strength had increased by many times. However, he knew that even now, he was still an ant in the eyes of others, a stepping stone for others to move forward. Maybe one day, he would stand here and grab the guy who brought out the axe pattern. Ning Cheng did not bring out the starry sky wheel but burned his spirit essence frantically. When the Dao runes around him condensed to the point that they were about to break the space, he shot out with his spear. The void here was still too terrifying, and he could not even sense the specific location of the plane. Given his current strength, he had to burn his spirit essence and use the creation divine spear to crack the void. Boom! After the creation divine spear, a faintly discernible void crack appeared in front of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng did not feel sad or happy. The creation divine spear rolled up the Dao runes and spirit essence and once again blasted the crack in the void. Crack! The crack in the void finally grew bigger. Ning Cheng raised his hand and tore it. Then, his entire body disappeared into it. If he did not tear the void, he did not know how long it would take to reach heavens beyond from here. Ning Cheng knew that with his current cultivation level, using a method like tearing the void was likely to make him lose speed. However, he had no other choice. As long as he could reach the void of the Jiao Yang realm, his spiritual consciousness could vaguely sense the location. Outside the heavens beyond sacred Dao sect's encampment, the defense array was no longer on the verge of being broken. With just a few attacks, the defensive formation began to tremble. Bastard, if I, the great Emperor Ping Cauldron, was at my peak, I could crush a bunch of these ants with a single finger. The old man cursed when he felt the sacred Dao sect's defensive formation shaking. However, the old fart did not finish his sentence. He still had some self-awareness in his heart. Even when he was at his peak, he could not pinch these people to death with a finger. In fact, even when he was at his peak, he was not a match for a world creation expert from the Duan clan of 7 SOS. Boom! Gotcha! There was an explosion. No matter how strong the sacred Dao sect's defense array was, it could not withstand the true attack of a creation realm expert. The previous attack could be said to be a feint. Once the real attack was launched, the Great Barrier protecting array would not be able to withstand it. Ding Jie's face was a little pale. He was the one in charge of this defense array. With the defense array, he might be able to resist for a while, but without it, he could not stop the creation realm Duan Yuwu at all. Now that the defense array was broken, none of the more than 100 people from the sacred Dao sect in heavens beyond would survive. Even though his strength had improved very quickly, it was a pity that he was still far from being able to compare with these veteran powerhouses. A primordial chaos sacred emperor was really nothing here. I'm sorry, Daoist Lu. If I hadn't called you guys over. Ding Jie looked at Lu Dongsa beside him and said apologetically. Lu Dongsa laughed. If Daoist Ning hadn't saved me back then, I would have been dead long ago. If Brother Ding hadn't asked us to come to this place, I wouldn't have lived until today. The Duan clan of 7 SOS is just being arrogant today. After today, they will just be courting death. I don't believe that Brother Ning Cheng will let this group of trash go. Guardian Ding, Ning Cheng offended the Duan clan of 7 SOS. There is no need for us to help them avoid disaster. We didn't kill anyone from the Duan clan of 7 SOS, so there is no hatred. Why don't we send those 3 out? Otherwise, the sacred Dao sect. Shut up, Mi Yun. Brother Ning has saved me several times. How can I ignore him? Besides, I have a feud with the Duan clan of 7 SOS. Ding Jie did not care that the other party had sent him a voice transmission. Instead, He berated her loudly. A pretty female cultivator standing next to Ding Jie blushed and stopped transmitting her voice. Instead, she said coldly, "Brother Ding, speaking of which, I should be the one in charge of the heavens beyond of heaven and earth. It's only because your cultivation level is higher that you made the decision. Now that your decision is wrong, do you want to drag everyone in the sacred Tao sect to their graves? Do you know who Ning Cheng is? He was the one who destroyed Huang Ping's cultivation level and foundation in the heavens beyond. Do you think Brother Bao will let it go when he comes back? Even if you have a good relationship with the sect master, you can't make a decision on this matter." Ding Jie stared at the pretty female cultivator and said word by word, "Mi Yun, you can continue to be the misty immortal pawn saintess or stay in the heavens beyond as a member of the sacred Tao sect. However, I have to warn you that Ning Cheng is my friend, so his matters are my matters. I'm responsible for the sacred Tao sect and the more than 100 sacred Tao sect disciples in the heavens beyond," Mi Yun said without hesitation, no longer feeling embarrassed. The old fogey frowned as he listened. Lu Dongsa and Ali were not as thick-skinned as the old fogey, so their faces had already turned red. The sacred Tao sect had actually had an internal conflict because of them. Lu Dongsa hurriedly stood up and said, "Brother Ding, let's go out first." "Everyone, please don't, go out. You still want to go out now? Die." Before Lu Dongsa could finish his sentence, a sharp palm print slapped over. Facing a creation realm expert, Lu Dongsa, who only had a primordial chaos cultivation level, did not even have a chance to resist. He was directly slapped into a bloody mist. In the bloody mist, a vaguely broken principal spirit tried to condense, but it was somewhat difficult. Ali, who was next to Lu Dongsa, was also not spared. She was behind Lu Dongsa, so just the aftermath of the Tao runes had directly shattered her principal spirit. Although her physical body was still there, she had undoubtedly died. The old fogey sighed. He had not expected that he would still not be spared. However, even if he had to die, he had to think of a way to protect his principal spirit. Bam! In just one move, the old fogey's arms were blasted into nothingness by the Tao runes of Duan Yu Wu. The old fogey's expression also changed. The space around him had been completely sealed. At that moment, it had become extremely difficult for him to even move in this space, let alone escape with his principal spirit. It was only then that he realized how powerful a creation realm expert was. Die! How dare you provoke my 7SOS Duan clan? I will kill you all. Duan Yuwu's cold voice was heard. The pentagonal copper bell was like 5 death-pressing gourds that completely locked the old fogey, making him unable to move. In order to kill the old fogey, Duan Yuwu did not need to use the pentagonal copper bell. What he wanted was the despairing aura of his opponent before death. Your principal spirit has not exploded. You have many good things on you. Duan Yuwu, who had trapped the old fogey, saw Lu Dongsa's faint principal spirit in the distance. He sneered, took a step forward again, and slapped him again. Boom! A green shadow that tore through heaven and earth suddenly appeared, and the blood mist exploded again. This time, it was not Lu Dongsa's principal spirit that exploded, but Duan Yuwu's arm. Master Ning, you're finally back. The old fogey felt like crying and called out in chasing bull's tone. The man in green robes standing in front of him was none other than Ning Cheng. The creation divine spear in his hand was still surrounded by some red mist. Duan Yuwu, who stood in front of him, had already lost an arm. Good, good, you even destroyed this sovereign's arm. When Duan Yuwu saw Ning Cheng, anger rose in his heart, but he did not dare to step forward. He knew very well that Ning Cheng's strength was much stronger than his. He was not afraid at all, as he was sure that he could hold on until the 7SOS Duan clan's Unity Realm expert arrived. Ning Cheng ignored Duan Yuwu. Duan Yuwu had killed Lu Dongsa and Ali and destroyed the old fogey's arms. If he had not torn the void and returned to heavens beyond in time, he would not have been able to see Lu Dongsa's principal spirit. At this time, he could not reason with the 7SOS Duan clan. Only the destruction of one party would be the real reason. Ning Qing sprinkled a drop of quintessential essence of the universe on Lu Dongsa's principal spirit, which was about to disperse, immediately condensed. Ning Qing took out a few elixir pills and put them into Li's mouth. Then, he said to the old fogey, "Take Union Master Lu and Li to the heavens beyond rest stop. I'll come back as soon as I'm done." Ali only needed a 6-yin soul pill to save him, but he lacked the 6-yin soul pill right now. Although the materials for refining the 6-yin soul pill were rare, he had it. Ning Cheng was not a fool. When he arrived, he saw the old fogey and the other two standing at the front. Apart from Ding Jia, the people from the sacred Tao sect stood far behind. Ding Jia looked ashamed and angry. Given his experience, he could guess some things. He guessed that the people from the sacred Tao sect did not want the old fogey and the other two here, which was why this had happened. Okay. The old fogey had been with Ning Cheng for a long time, so he could guess what Ning Cheng wanted to do. Moreover, Ning Cheng's cultivation had already reached Tao integration. Ding Jia came up and said awkwardly, "Brother Ning, this matter," although this matter had nothing to do with Ding Jia still blamed himself deeply. Ning Cheng waved his hand. "Brother Ding, this has nothing to do with you. In any case, we are friends." After saying that, Ning Cheng raised his hand and brought out the fourth Yellow Springs Bridge, which completely sealed the space. The Creation Divine Spear swept towards Duan Yu Wu and another Creation Realm expert of the 7SOS Duan clan. As for the Tao Integration Sacred Emperors, just the Yellow Springs Tao runes of the Yellow Springs Bridge sealed them. Not to mention that Ning Cheng had already reached Tao Integration. Even if Ning Cheng had not reached Tao Integration, he could easily kill Duan Yu Wu's fake realm expert. The old fogey saw the opportunity and quickly left with Lu Dongsa's essence spirit and Li. Ning Cheng's Creation Divine Spear had already started wreaking havoc. The violent spear charm's killing intent combined with the Tao runes of the fourth Yellow Springs Bridge sealed all the experts of the 7SOS Duan clan besieging the sacred Tao sect's defensive array. A mournful scream rang out. Even Duan Yu Wu did not last long before Ning Cheng tore his body apart and burned his essence spirit. "You're courting death!" Duan Shiza yelled. When he rushed over, he could only smell the smell of blood. He could not see anyone from the 7SOS Duan clan. Flames burned in his heart, and he hated himself for being a step too late. Sang Wanglong and the others, who followed behind Duan Shiza, looked at Ning Cheng standing on the Yellow Springs Bridge like a god of death. Chapter 1323. Duan Shiza was an integration realm expert. The angrier he got, the calmer he became. Ning Cheng had killed 2 creation realm experts from the Duan clan, including Duan Yu Wu, and several Tao integration experts in such a short time, which showed that Ning Cheng was not much weaker than him. Streaks of sharp Tao rhyme aura slowly condensed and surrounded his body. The killing intent gradually increased, and a blue bone fan with a blood-red edge floated above his head. The fan seemed to contain a destructive aura that could erupt at any time. Facing an expert like Ning Cheng, he did not want to be careless. Ning Cheng gripped the Creation Divine Spear tightly and stood still on the fourth Yellow Springs Bridge. He could easily kill Duan Yu Wu, but it did not mean that he could easily kill this integration realm expert in front of him. After talking to the voice in the void in the heaven and earth divine tomb, Ning Cheng had a rough idea of the strength of this third step expert. As the saying went, Great Tao has a small decline, small Tao has a big decline, illusion Tao has a false decline, and false Tao has no decline. In Ning Cheng's opinion, the Tao that Xing Shi cultivated should be a great Tao, which was why she was very strong when she reached the third step. Tao Lord Formless and Tao Lord Changtian should cultivate small Tao, which was why they were weaker than Xing Shi. As for Feng Huangmei and the Duan clan's third-step experts, they were either illusion Dao or false Dao. These people should be the weakest. Even if they were the weakest, Ning Qing did not dare to be careless. After all, he was only at the Dao integration realm, while the guy in front of him seemed to have entered the illusion Dao's integration realm. Standing in the distance, Sang Wanglong and the others saw Ning Qing standing on the Yellow Springs Bridge, surrounded by killing intent and boundless Dao rune aura. He did not seem to be at a disadvantage when confronting Duan Shiza. They were all shocked. Sang Wanglong had never seen Ning Qing fight. Now that Ning Qing had killed 2 creation realm experts and confronted Duan Shiza, he knew that he was far from being Ning Qing's match. At this thought, he could not help but rejoice that he had not completely offended Ning Qing. Otherwise, no matter how strong the Heaven Gate realm was, it would not be able to protect him in heavens beyond. Your Ning Qing of the Grand Essence realm, the Ning Qing who killed 3 creation realm and 5 Dao integration realm cultivators of my Duan clan of 7 ways. Duan Shiza stared at Ning Qing and asked word by word. Ning Qing spoke up in a calm tone, "No, you're mistaken." Duan Shiza roared with laughter, yet there wasn't a trace of a smile in his eyes. "No matter how you try to deny it, you'll still die. Killing 1 person from my Duan clan is enough to destroy your entire Grand Essence realm. Today, you killed so many elites of my Duan clan. Even if you invited the strongest powerhouses of the vast universe, you and the Grand Essence realm would still end up in ashes." Ning Qing spoke up with a calm voice, "I said that you made a mistake. It's not that I didn't kill anyone from your Duan clan of 7 sockets, but that you misstated the number. Didn't the Duan clan of the 7 ways like to destroy other realms and planets at the drop of a hat? After killing you, I will go to the 7 Aqua realm and uproot your Duan clan. As for the number, you can calculate it yourself. Oh, by the way, you don't have that chance anymore. I'll see how a puny Dao integration cultivator like you can defy the heavens." Duan Shiza was so angry that he didn't even bother to curse. The blood-rimmed blue bone fan in his hands suddenly expanded and transformed into endless mournful wind mists. The surging sound baneful aura permeated the entire heavens beyond. Those with weaker cultivations started bleeding from their 7 orifices. Sang Wanglong and the others, who were watching from the side, had to extend their protective domains to resist. The mournful wind mists mixed with the sound baneful aura became increasingly condensed and completely controlled Ning Qing and the space he was in. Ning Qing snorted coldly. The Duan clan of 7 sockets was indeed vicious. In the eyes of the Duan clan of 7 sockets, the lives of others were no different from ants. The yellow river above the 4th Yellow Springs Bridge roared more and more violently. The mournful spatial sound baneful aura was swept away by the yellow river, but some of it still swept towards Ning Qing. Ning Qing waved his hand again, and the 5th reincarnation bridge landed on the Yellow Springs Bridge. The huge black millstone under the reincarnation bridge was grinding frantically. The endless mournful sound baneful wind mists were swept away by the reincarnation bridge and disappeared. The mournful sound baneful Dao runes were clearly not Duan Shiza's trump card. When Ning Qing took out the reincarnation bridge, Duan Shiza had already waved his blood-rimmed bone fan countless times. Every time Duan Shiza waved his fan, a faintly discernible spiral Dao pattern would appear. These spiral Dao patterns gradually formed a spring-like space. Ning Qing, on the other hand, was bound by this spiral Dao pattern. Even Ning Qing's domain could not stop it. Ning Qing's heart skipped a beat. He was right. An integration realm cultivator was more than a few times stronger than a creation realm cultivator. These spiral spinning Dao patterns not only bound his space, but more importantly, they bound his Dao rune laws. At this moment, all his nomological divine abilities were restricted. His protective domain was also a type of nomological law, so his protective domain was also restricted. Ning Qing was secretly shocked. This divine ability was somewhat similar to his law-breaking spirit ability. His law-breaking spirit ability required him to break the laws of heaven and earth in space. Although the other party's divine ability did not break the laws of the surrounding space, it bound the laws of the surrounding space. Compared to this, his law-breaking spirit ability seemed to be more destructive and effective. In fact, Ning Qing knew very well that this law-breaking spirit ability was no weaker than his law-breaking spirit ability. In fact, it was even stronger. This was because this law-breaking spirit ability consumed much less Tao runes and spirit essence. Ning Qing swung the spear in his hand, and the spear patterns turned into thousands of nomological Tao runes. It was also a law-breaking spirit ability. Before Ning Qing could follow behind and use his killer move, the spatial laws binding him suddenly changed, and Ning Qing saw a beautiful and poignant world. If Ning Qing hadn't used his law-breaking spirit ability, he might not have been able to resist walking into this beautiful and poignant world. Duan Shiza's blood-rimmed bone fan was also a Tao rune world artifact, just like the mountain river diagram. Seeing Ning Qing stop at the edge of his blood mountain river fan, Duan Shiza frowned. He had also sensed Ning Qing's law-breaking spirit ability. The reason Ning Qing didn't walk into his blood mountain river fan was because he had used an law-breaking spirit ability before he entered. It was this law-breaking spirit ability that weakened the effect of his mountain river intent on Ning Qing. Intent Tao rune spirit ability. Ning Qing looked at the blood mountain river in front of him and completely understood Duan Shiza's thoughts. Everything Duan Shiza had done before was just a cover. His real killer move was to make him walk into this blood mountain river. Intent spirit ability. I have one too. At this moment, not only did Ning Qing not retreat, but he also stepped into the blood mountain river. Duan Shiza was pleasantly surprised. Just when he thought he would have to use other means, Ning Qing actually entered his blood mountain river at the last moment. As long as one entered his blood mountain river, one could only be ravaged and killed by him. Feng Huangmei, who was watching from the side, was shocked. Even if he shouted, it wouldn't affect Ning Qing in the slightest. He could only watch Ning Qing step into Duan Shiza's blood mountain river. It's over. Sang Wanglong and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Ning Qing was indeed heaven-defying to be able to confront a Unity Realm powerhouse. Fortunately, Ning Qing's heaven-defying abilities were limited, and he wasn't Duan Shiza's opponent in the end. Once Ning Qing died, the Grand Essence Realm would most likely be destroyed, and it wouldn't even have the chance to be refined. The moment Ning Qing stepped into the Blood Mountain River, Duan Shiza brought out a giant pair of scissors. He wanted to cut off Ning Qing's head and pinch Ning Qing's essence spirit to tell him that the Seven Soas Duan clan wasn't something an ant like him could offend. But just as he brought out the scissors, he smelled a wine fragrance, and the Blood Mountain River fan in front of him started to blur. As the sun set, yellow sand rose. On the ancient path, a skinny horse and a human depended on each other. A breeze and yellow sand appeared in front of Duan Shiza. On the long ancient path, he seemed to see a scene that had long been hidden in the depths of his memory. This is, when he saw the Blood Mountain River at the end of the yellow sand path, Duan Shiza instantly sobered up. No, this is also a martial intent spirit ability. A puny Tao integration Holy Emperor dared to use a blood spirit ability on him the moment he stepped into the Blood Mountain River. He's courting death. Duan Shiza sneered, and the Tao runes of the giant pair of scissors flowed, sweeping over waves of killing aura. Even the death aura on the Yellow Springs Bridge and Rebirth Bridge under Ning Qing's feet was swept over, and the killing aura of the giant pair of scissors continued to rise. Just as Ning Qing was about to be completely enveloped by this killing aura, Duan Shiza saw a finger pointing at the end of the space. What could be used to describe this finger? Boundless? Majestic? Or slaughter? None of these were right. This was death. Everything in the universe shattered in front of this finger. Laws shattered, Tao runes shattered, and life was about to shatter. Breaking through the void, destroying everything. The law-breaking finger. Duan Shiza's giant pair of scissors suddenly disintegrated under this finger. The Tao runes of the rolling yellow sand and setting sun, coupled with this finger that could destroy everything, appeared even more tragic and tragic. What finger is this? Duan Shiza watched helplessly as this finger broke through his Tao runes, tore open his domain, and blasted into his divine soul. None to depend on, yellow sand rises. There is a thin horse on the west wind ancient path, relying on each other for endless tears. Duan Shiza, who had already broken free from the none to depend on spirit ability, was once again swept into the none to depend on spirit ability. The giant arrow in his hand became that woman's boudoir scissors. His mountain and river Tao runes had already turned into a binding that swept him in. Victory or defeat was decided in an instant. Just as he was about to break free from Ning Cheng's none to depend on and control Ning Cheng, the heaven and earth finger appeared. If Ning Cheng didn't have the law-breaking finger, if he could have been a step faster, no matter which world, if was a difficult thing to do. Bang! Blood mist exploded, and the giant pair of scissors in Duan Shiza's hand fell to the ground. A trace of despair flashed in his eyes. The surrounding illusion disappeared, and his blood-side mountain and river fan also fell to the ground. Only his broken essence spirit still looked at Ning Cheng with some unwillingness. What the hell is that finger? Law-breaking finger. You can wait for the rest of your Duan clan to go to hell together. Ning Cheng waved his hand and put away the Yellow Springs Bridge and Reincarnation Bridge. Everything around him disappeared, except for Duan Shiza, who had turned into a blood mist and hadn't completely dissipated. Fellow Taoist Ning, since you've returned, let's continue with the meeting. As for the time of the competition, it will naturally be up to fellow Taoist Ning to decide, Sang Wanlong said with an apologetic smile. His realm was not afraid of Ning Cheng, but he was. Since Ning Cheng dared to kill the 7 Ways Duan clan's convergence realm expert, then Ning Cheng would also dare to kill him. Ning Cheng suddenly looked at Sang Wanlong with a meaningful smile. Dao friend Sang, let's talk about this matter after I come back. Perhaps there were others who disagreed with fellow Taoist Sang's words before I returned. Ning Cheng felt sure that before he returned, Sang Wanlong would not dare to speak about the fight in advance. Unless an expert stronger than Sang Wanlong came. If such an expert really came, the beyond of heaven and earth would be divided in advance. Then when he returned, he would snatch what was rightfully his. Why could people from other realms come and snatch but he couldn't? As for the person who disagreed with Sang Wanlong, it was the divine Tao sect leader. Yi Mo Ning Cheng had seen Yi Mo's power with his own eyes. Before he reached Tao integration, he was definitely no match for Yi Mo. Now that he was Tao integration, his power was probably about the same as Yi Mo plus. There were countless fortunes in the heaven and earth god tomb. He had gone in twice and found fortune. If he could get it, others could too. If he succeeded in Tao integration, who knew if the divine Tao sect leader would improve? If he did, then even if they didn't agree to divide the beyond of heaven and earth through a battle, Sang Wanlong probably wouldn't say anything. Even if someone were to object, it would be the experts from the Heavenly Gates realm and the other realms who came to the sky beyond Avalon, not Sang Wanlong. Dao friend Ning, you're leaving again? Sang Wanlong asked in confusion. Ning Cheng sneered, I'm not the kind of person to repay evil with good. The Duan clan tried to annihilate my realm many times and kill my people. If I don't kill them back, how can I face them? The instant Ning Cheng saw Lu Dongca's body destroyed and Ali killed, Ning Cheng had made up his mind to annihilate the Duan clan. The Duan clan of 7 Soas was too vicious, a poisonous snake. If he couldn't annihilate the Duan clan today, then one day, they might kill everyone around him and even destroy the Great Essence realm. It wasn't the first time the Duan clan did this. Ning Cheng didn't dare to place the safety of the Great Essence realm and the people around him on the kindness of a poisonous snake. Sang Wanlong, Yi Shanli and the others on hearing Ning Cheng's words involuntarily shuddered. They heard that the Duan clan liked to annihilate their enemies' realms, but they didn't expect to meet someone who would return the favor. Dao Friend Ning, we will definitely wait for Dao Friend Ning to come back before discussing when to start the battle. Sang Wanlong said without hesitation. Senior Ning, if you go to the 7 Aqua Realm, I'm willing to go with you. A young man standing behind Sang Wanlong suddenly stepped forward and bowed to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng looked at this young man in confusion. This man's face was covered in scars and his body was covered in mottled Dao runes. It didn't seem like he cultivated a powerful cultivation method. However, Ning Cheng could tell that this man was a late-stage Dao integration Holy Emperor. With his cultivation method, he was already very lucky to reach the late-stage Dao integration Holy Emperor. Most likely, the late-stage Dao integration Holy Emperor was the highest realm he could reach in his life. Seeing Ning Cheng looking at him in confusion, the man suddenly said, I'm Chang Wuxiao. I'm still alive to destroy the Duan clan. You're the one from planet Zhonghua. Feng Huangmei said in surprise, but he didn't finish his sentence. The scarred man bowed to Feng Huangmei and said in a calm tone, that's right. I'm the unlucky Chang Wuxiao from planet Zhonghua. I live in hatred and guilt all the time. I only live for one purpose, and that is to destroy the Duan clan. Despite his calm tone, everyone could still see a trace of hatred in his eyes. Ning Cheng looked at Feng Huangmei. Heavenly Lord Feng, you know Daoist Chang. Feng Huangmei nodded and said with a trace of regret, yes, Daoist Chang had an accident in heavens beyond. I thought he had escaped long ago. I didn't expect him to stay in heavens beyond. Chang Wuxiao clenched his fists and said word by word, I just had a conflict with a primordial chaos Holy Emperor from the Duan clan and I killed him. Even if the Duan clan wanted revenge, they should have come for me. In the end, they destroyed my planet Zhonghua. The nearly 10 billion lives on my planet are not even comparable to 10 billion flies in their eyes. I'm filled with hatred. I swear that if I don't destroy the Duan clan, Chang Wuxiao will forever be an animal. Ning Cheng understood that Chang Wuxiao must have known that someone from the Duan clan had come here, so he wanted to fish in troubled waters. Do you know how to get to the Duan clan? Ning Cheng asked suddenly. Even though the hatred between Chang Wuxiao and the Duan clan of the 7 Soas couldn't be washed away with blood, a Dao integration final stage Holy Emperor really wasn't much help to Ning Cheng. If Chang Wuxiao knew how to get to the Duan clan, he would not have to look for the world of the Duan clan's experts. Ning Cheng had originally planned to look for Duan Shiza's world. An expert like Duan Shiza would definitely have a way to return to the 7 Aqua realm quickly. Now that Chang Wuxiao had such a deep hatred for the Duan clan, there was no reason not to find a way to get to the Duan clan quickly. Chang Wuxiao bowed to Ning Cheng and said, Senior, I have a talisman. It's the Duan clan's positioning escape talisman. This talisman is very precious in the Duan clan, and it only has one function, which is to cross the void to the periphery of the 7 Aqua realm. Alright, since that's the case, let's go together. Ning Cheng immediately replied. Since Chang Wuxiao had a simple way to get to the Duan clan of the 7 ways, he also didn't feel like searching for those ring worlds. Chang Wuxiao didn't speak nonsense. It only took him and Ning Cheng 3 days to reach the periphery of the 7 Aqua world. The periphery of the 7 Aqua world had a myriad of phenomena. When one's divine consciousness swept across, it felt like a vast sea of smoke. Not to mention a broken boundary like the Grand Essence realm, even a boundary with complete laws like the Grand Change realm couldn't compare to the 7 Aqua realm. The 7 Aqua realm was different from the beyond of heaven and earth. The beyond of heaven and earth was a place where several plane realms intersected. One could not tell how vast and majestic it was. However, if one were to stand outside the 7 Aqua world, one would be able to clearly see the grand atmosphere. Senior, the Duan clan of 7 Soas has as many experts as the clouds. I do have a way to borrow external help. I heard that there is a third step Dao spring in the 7 Aqua realm. If we can sneak into the 7 Aqua realm and break the Dao Springs restriction, we will be able to enter the 7 Aqua realm. It will probably attract all the experts in the 7 Aqua world to fight for it. Chang Wuxiao saw Ning Cheng staring at the vast 7 Aqua world in silence. He thought that Ning Cheng wanted to retreat and quickly spoke up. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. No, let's enter the 7 Aqua realm first. In Ning Cheng's opinion, using the 7 Aqua realm's third step Dao spring to cause everyone to fight over it was completely useless. No matter how good the Dao spring was, it was only something for cultivation and comprehension. There were so many experts in the 7 Aqua world. Even if the Dao spring was exposed, there wouldn't be much danger. However, Chang Wuxiao's words gave Ning Cheng some inspiration. Dao spring might not work, but he had something that could, the indestructible axe blade. If the Duan clan of 7 Soas had a few more experts like Duan Shiza, he could only come here and start a massacre. He might even have to flee in the end. However, it was different when he took out the indestructible axe's edge. The indestructible axe's edge was a remnant of a good fortune artifact. Moreover, it also contained the Dao charm of a good fortune cultivation method. Once he took out the indestructible axe's edge, the Duan clan of 7 Soas would definitely be targeted by many experts. At that time, he could just take the opportunity to kill them. As long as he killed the Unity Realm experts of the Duan clan of 7 Soas, the rest wouldn't be a threat to him. As long as the Duan clan of 7 Soas didn't perish, he wouldn't sleep well. If he could use the indestructible axe's edge fragment to destroy the 7 Aqua world, he wouldn't feel the slightest bit of regret. Chapter 1325. In the main hall of the heavens beyond of heaven and earth, Heavenly Lord Feng Huangmei, who had been stripped of his right to speak by the Duan clan of the 7 Pagodas, presided over the meeting once again. There was only one thing to discuss, which was to overturn the previous proposal of bringing forward the battle. After Ning Cheng returned, the battle to divide the beyond of heaven and earth would begin. This time, Sang Wanglong was the first to express his opinion. I agree with Sky Lord Feng's opinion. Since it was agreed upon, we naturally have to abide by it. Ding Jie, who wasn't qualified to participate in the meeting, was also present. After Sang Wanglong finished speaking, he immediately said, Sky Lord Feng is right. Since it's a competition, everyone naturally needs to be present. The sacred Dao sect master hasn't returned to heavens beyond for the time being due to some matters. I feel that besides waiting for Daoist Ning, we should also wait for the sacred Dao sect master to return. Sang Wanglong looked at Yen Lai from the 3 elements realm, Zhuo Ming from the 9 heavens realm, and the others from the 3 elements realm. However, many of them were sent by some small domains and were not qualified to speak at all. In Sang Wanglong's opinion, with the scene of Ning Cheng killing Duan Shiza, Yen Lai and Zhuo Ming would definitely stand up and agree immediately. Unexpectedly, Yen Qin shrugged and didn't say anything. Yen Lai did not say anything. Instead, the ordinary-looking woman beside him cupped her fists and said, the 3 elements realm does not agree to this. The realignment of the beyond of heaven and earth is a big deal. This was not something that could be decided by just a few people. This was a problem that concerned all the major domains. This kind of thing should naturally be resolved as soon as possible. Everyone agreed to bring forward the competition, and the date has also been set. How can it be changed just because one person said so? If this woman hadn't spoken up, Sang Wanglong wouldn't have paid any attention to her. Now that she had spoken up, Sang Wanglong realized that he couldn't see through her cultivation. Could it be that he was a fusing realm expert? But why had he been following behind Yen Lai without saying a word? Before Sang Wanglong could figure out what was going on, another white-haired old man stood up. I think that Daoist me from the 3 elemental world is right. I, Liao Qianluo, will not agree to delay the battle either. For us, the division of the beyond of heaven and earth has been delayed long enough. It was ridiculous to delay the battle because one or two people had not arrived. Since it's a duel, those who don't show up will automatically forfeit. This time, Sang Wanglong was sure that this was another fusing realm expert. Unlike that woman, he hadn't seen this white-haired old man in the previous meetings. He reckoned that he was a realm integration expert from the realm of 9 heavens who had just arrived here. Sang Wanglong didn't say anything after 2 harmony realm experts stepped forward to speak. He could speak up for Ning Cheng, but it did not mean that he would block the spear for Ning Cheng. It seemed like the beyond of heaven and earth status in the various plane realms had risen once again. Otherwise, there would not have been so many integration realm experts coming here. He wondered if the Heavenly Gate realm would also send an integration realm expert. I think the 2 Taoists from the 3 Elements realm and the 9 Heavens realm are right. We should hold the competition as soon as possible. Wanglong, you've been in the beyond of heaven and earth for such a long time. Logically speaking, you should have resolved this matter long ago. Up until now, this matter had not been resolved. This was really not right. I also heard that apart from the indestructible axe, the creation Green Lotus has also started to condense. Sang Wanglong was still thinking about the Heavenly Gate realm when an abrupt voice appeared at the entrance of the hall. Everyone in the hall was shocked and they saw a long-haired man standing at the entrance. They couldn't tell his age, but his long white hair was really eye-catching. There were no Tao runes circulating around him, but he gave off a powerful pressure that was as vast as a mountain. More importantly, he was carrying a petite woman in red clothes in his hand. Many people knew this petite woman. She was Tang Tsongyin, who had defeated the creation realm expert from the Duan clan of 7 pagodas when she was at the Tao integration realm. Sage monarch Han Huang. Ding Jie was the first to stand up and exclaim in shock. Without Tang Tsongyin, Ding Jie wouldn't have dared to step forward and speak no matter how dissatisfied he was with this person. Given this person's terrifying strength, he would probably be killed with a casual strike. However, Tang Tsongyin had saved his life. How could he not be furious when she was being held in someone's hand? Hurry up and put down Lord Sage Han Huang. Ding Jie leaped out angrily. Even though the other party was an integration realm expert, Ding Jie couldn't help but rush out when his savior was being restrained. How dare a primordial chaos weakling be rude to me? The white-haired man holding Tang Tsongyin snorted angrily and raised his hand to slap Ding Jie. Ding Jie's entire body was like a kite with a broken string. He was restrained by the Tao runes of his slap and slammed into the wall of the hall. While the sound of bones cracking was heard, the Tao runes around Ding Jie exploded wildly. Even an idiot would know that this slap had destroyed Ding Jie's bones and Tao runes. You did have a few moves. The integration realm expert saw that Ding Jie's bones and Tao runes had only been destroyed by his slap. It seemed like this puny late-stage primordial chaos cultivator wasn't simple either. Even though he hadn't used his full strength, Ding Jie had been able to block his slap, which meant that he wasn't an ordinary primordial chaos cultivator. When Sang Wanglong saw this person and heard Ding Jie's words, he hurriedly stood up and said with cupped fists, "Daoist Mu, it's you. I'm sorry that I couldn't welcome you earlier." Sang Wanglong spoke politely, but he felt extremely uncomfortable deep down. He knew this person, who was also from the Sky Gate realm like him. His name was Mu Qiangjue. Unfortunately, Mu Qiangjue's strength was far stronger than his. He was a true integration realm expert and could even be considered a powerful person among integration realm experts. He simply couldn't refute Mu Qiangjue's words. Although he and Mu Qiangjue were both members of the Sky Gate Realm Union, their sects were different. Mu Qiangjue's sect was the Thunder Sound Valley, while his sect was the South Rudra Pavilion. In terms of strength, the South Rudra Pavilion was far inferior to the Thunder Sound Valley. Furthermore, the South Rudra Pavilion and the Thunder Sound Valley had always been estranged. At that moment, Mu Qiangjue was speaking in a condescending manner in front of him. It would be strange if he felt comfortable. Mu Qiangjue slapped Ding Jie and sent him flying. Then, he waved his hand nonchalantly and said to Sang Wanglong, "This isn't about you and me. It concerns the Sky Gate realm. You've worked hard during this period of time. Leave the rest of the competition to me. Since Ning Cheng hasn't come, we naturally can't wait for him. As for the sacred Tao sect, we won't wait either. The division of heavens beyond is a big matter for the various planes and realms. It has nothing to do with those uneducated sects in small places." Ding Jie had only angrily asked Mu Qiangjue to quickly put down Tang Tsongyen. In Mu Qiangjue's eyes, he had offended someone from a small sect. Sang Wanglong didn't say anything, as he knew that this matter had blown up. If Ning Qing hadn't come back and killed Duan Shiza, he wouldn't have thought this way. According to Feng Huangmei, the sacred Tao sect master seemed to be stronger than Ning Cheng. Now that Ning Cheng could kill an integration realm expert and Mu Qiangjue had almost killed Ding Jie, it would be strange if the sacred Tao sect master would let it go after he came back. Even though he didn't tell Mu Qiangjue how stupid he had been, his expression was equally ugly. He was very unhappy with Mu Qiangjue's arrogance, but Mu Qiangjue had come from the Heavenly Gates Realm Alliance after all. At the very least, he was on the same side as him now. Oh, when did I agree to the division of heavens beyond? Even if heavens beyond needs to be redivided, it's not up to an outsider like you to tell us what to do. After Mu Qiangjue said that, another indifferent voice was heard. Everyone in the hall looked behind Mu Qiangjue in shock. They had clearly seen Mu Qiangjue before, but they hadn't seen anyone else come. It was an extremely young man with black hair casually tied into a starry sky cultivator's bun. He carried a sheathless purple saber on his back and stood behind Mu Qiangjue in blue robes. Mu Qiangjue was even more shocked. He took a step back and turned to stare at the blue-robed young man in front of him. He was so powerful, but he hadn't noticed that the other party had appeared behind him just now. "You're the sacred Tao sect master. You were the one who set up the defense array here, right?" Mu Qiangjue asked solemnly when he was completely facing the blue-robed youth. He had already confirmed one thing: no one could sneak up behind him unknowingly. Let alone a mere Tao integration late-stage cultivator. The only explanation was that the defensive array of this hall was set up by this person before him. That was how he was able to sneak up behind him unknowingly. "That's right, I'm Divine Tao sect leader Yemo. I set up the defense formation here indeed." "Put her down. Is kidnapping a woman even human?" Yi Mo's tone was still cold. Only Feng Huangmei knew that this was a sign that Yi Mo was going to kill. Right now, he was merely enduring, and there was only one reason why he was enduring. Tang Tsongyin was being carried by Mu Qiangjue. If Yi Mo attacked now, Tang Tsongyin would be the first cannon fodder. "Master, you're finally back." Ding Jie wanted to laugh, but he could only spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. "I've been bullied by this beast," just 2 sentences were enough to make him gasp for breath. Yi Mo's killing intent came wave after wave. Although he didn't release it, he already considered Mu Qiangjue a dead man. He dared to kill his brother in abstruse yellow heaven beyond heaven. If he didn't annihilate this person's soul, he wasn't Ding Jie's brother. Yi Mo resisted the killing intent and threw a few pills into Ding Jie's mouth. Then, he barely said, "I'll introduce a good place for you to quickly reach Tao integration. At that time, killing these beasts will be as easy as killing ants." Then, Yi Mo continued to stare at Mu Qiangjue. Mu Qiangjue laughed heartily. "When I, Mu Qiangjue, dominated all of the realms, where was a puny Tao integration stage holy emperor like you? You don't deserve me to kidnap a woman." As he spoke, the Taoist rhyme in his hand swept out, and Tang Tsongyin was swept up by a violent Taoist rhyme power before she was sent flying towards the walls of the hall. Chapter 1326. The Tao wave wrapping around Tang Tsongyin was too powerful. Feng Huangmei really wanted to help, but he was too weak compared to Mu Qiangjue. This powerful Tao wave was definitely going to turn Tang Tsongyin into a bloody mist. Even if he wanted to help, he couldn't because his spirit sense couldn't seep into Mu Qiangjue's powerful Tao wave power. Thud, crack. At the same time, Tang Tsongyin was swept out. Yi Mo moved. His figure directly passed through space and appeared in front of Tang Tsongyin. An even more terrifying Taoist rhyme suddenly burst out. The dull Taoist rhyme exploded, and the Taoist rhyme rule power that wrapped around Tang Tsongyin was immediately torn apart. The next moment, Tang Tsongyin was grabbed by Yi Mo and sent to Feng Huangmei's side. Because Yi Mo forcefully reached Tao integration tertiary stage, his Tao wave wasn't stable at all. That uncontrollable and powerful Tao rune power directly tore apart the defense array of the conference hall. Mu Qiangjue, who didn't even consider Yi Mo a threat, narrowed his eyes. He could tell Yi Mo's cultivation level wasn't stable. He seemed to have forcefully raised his cultivation level to Tao integration tertiary stage. Now that he attacked, that violent Tao wave power could no longer be hidden. At the same time, he felt a powerful aura that was not any weaker than his own. This definitely wasn't something a Tao integration divine emperor could give off. No, even a world creation state might not have such a powerful qi. No matter how strong a Tao integration divine emperor was, how could he have such powerful Tao wave force? Tao friend Yi, I've let go of your friend, we can have a good talk now. Mu Qiangjue changed his mind after feeling Yi Mo's power. If that Ning Cheng also had such power, then he really wouldn't be a match if the two joined up. As for Sang Wanglong, he didn't expect him to help him. Powerful beings from other realms? There was no way he would help him. Before Mu Qiangjue finished, a twisted purple sword ray hacked at him. Falling mark sword rune. Mu Qiangjue told Yi Mo to stop while he released his magic artifact purple cloud wheel. Rays of purple light suddenly appeared and spread out from the inside. With this, Mu Qiangjue's domain became more condensed and powerful. He had decided to block Yi Mo's strike first and then they could discuss. He was going to let Yi Mo know that even if they really fought, he wasn't scared of anyone. The twisted saber patterns clashed with the protective domain formed by the fusion of the purple will light, and the Tao patterns scattered everywhere. It was clearly a void, but everyone seemed to see a huge vertical lake that had been slashed by the saber pattern. The lake's surface became firmer and firmer under the Tao wave of the purple wheel. Yi Mo's falling mark sword rune seemed to be unable to go in any further. Mu Qiangjue heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like the other party was only a so-so. Just as he was about to open his mouth to speak, his divine sense was like scattered dry firewood, completely bound together by a long rope. Mu Qiangjue was horrified. The sacred Tao sect master was only at the Tao integration realm, yet he could bind his spiritual sense. What kind of terrifying spiritual sense cultivation technique was this? He didn't have time to think about what cultivation method Yi Mo used. His spirit sense was bound and the wheel Tao waves instantly weakened. Even he couldn't imagine the weakening speed. Not good. Mu Qiangjue knew that if this continued, he would be sliced in half by the purple sword rune. Before his spirit sense could close, Mu Qiangjue's sea of consciousness shot out beams of light. Under these beams of light, his spirit sense seemed to be about to break free. Mu Qiangjue finally felt a little assured. 1 second later, his spirit sense would break free and he would immediately leave the battlefield. Thud. A flame that appeared out of nowhere exploded at the same time as the explosion of his Tao light. Before the bound spiritual sense could disperse, it was burned by this flame. Arg! Mu Qiangjue howled in pain. Even though he was a Tao Integration Realm Master, he couldn't handle the terrifying torment of the divine flame burning his spirit sense. The purple light Tao wave of the purple cloud heaven will turned into thin paper. The twisted purple sword rune sliced through Mu Qiangjue's domain like tofu. Mu Qiangjue guessed right that Yi Mo's sword would break open his domain, but he didn't guess the result. The purple blade sliced through his body, but it did not cut him in half. Instead, it turned him into a bloody mist. Not even his primordial spirit remained. The entire palace was silent. Ning Cheng used all sorts of lethal moves to kill Duan Shiza, but now, this divine Tao sect leader killed Mu Qiangjue as easily as breathing. It was as though as soon as the battle started, it was over. Then, Mu Qiangjue no longer existed in this world. Even the 2 Tao Integration Realm Masters from 3 Essence Realm and 9 Heavens Realm didn't dare to say anything. They could tell Mu Qiangjue was stronger than them, and Mu Qiangjue only needed 1 strike to kill him. Even if they stood up, it would probably still be 1 strike. Who still wants to claim our divine Tao sect's land? Yi Mo scanned across Sang Wanlong and them. Even when he scanned everyone in the palace, no one spoke up. Ding Jie got up with Tang Tsongyin's help. Yi Mo hacked Mu Qiangjue with 1 strike. This made his blood boil. Even though he was pretty much a cripple now, he had made up his mind that as long as he could recover, he would go out and trial again. One day, he would be able to hack a Tao Integration Realm Master like Mu Qiangjue in 1 strike. Feng Huangmei walked over and took out a map of abstruse yellow heavens beyond realm and gave it to Yi Mo, sect leader Yi. This is the map. Everyone discussed before that we would choose a new realm based on the results. Yi Mo's eyes fell on the map and knew what Feng Huangmei meant. It was because the first-grade domains in this domain were far larger than the current territory of his mysterious yellow sect. Moreover, the area they occupied was also much better than the current one. Since sect leader Yi doesn't want to take out your realm, then we'll take the divine Tao sect's realm and divide the other places. The Tao Integration Realm woman from 3 Essence Realm finally stood up. Yi Mo was so powerful that he wouldn't even hesitate to kill Mu Qiangjue. She would probably end up the same if she opposed. Sang Wanlong woke up from his shock and saluted with his fists to Yi Mo, Heaven Gate Realm. Sang Wanlong greet sect leader. Of course we won't reject sect leader Ye's opinion. But sect leader Yi just killed Mu Qiangjue from Heaven Gate Realm. He's an elder of Lightning Sound Valley. Yi Mo's eyes fell on Sang Wanlong's face and said calmly, then tell him to come find me. After saying that, he ignored Sang Wanlong and said to everyone, as for the division of the world, I agree because of Heaven Lord Feng Huangmei. My divine Tao sect will also participate in this division. Sect leader, you're finally back. Huang Ping's foundation has been crippled. A young pretty woman walked in quickly and said from afar. Because the Heaven Lord Palace's defense formation was broken, there was no more obstruction between the Heaven Lord Palace's meeting hall and the outside. If there was a top 10 sect power in the 7C realm, the Duan family would definitely be in there. If one were to search for the top 5 sects among these 10, the Duan clan of the 7 Ways would also be among them. However, the Duan clan of the 7 SOS wasn't ranked in the top 10 of the 7 SOS world. Some people who didn't know the truth thought that the Duan clan of the 7 SOS was magnanimous and unwilling to snatch the territories of weaker sections. But only some core members of the Duan family knew that the reason they didn't want to move was because there was a Tao spring mountain here. There was a Tao spring in the mountain. This Tao spring could let Tao Integration Divine Emperor feel a sliver of third-step Tao Qi. Because of these Tao springs, the Duan clan of 7 Ways had more third-step experts than other sections. Boom! A huge explosion erupted at the top of the Tao spring. Almost everyone in the Duan clan of 7 Soas was shocked by this violent explosion of Tao runes. The most prestigious place in the Duan family was naturally the Tao Spring Mountain. Those who could live at the top of the Tao Spring were either at Unity Realm or almost half-step into Unity Realm. No matter how powerful a sect was, there wouldn't be many Unity Realm experts. The Duan clan of 7 Soas had a lot of Integration Realm experts. They had a total of 3 Integration Realm experts and 1 expert who was half a step into the Integration Realm. It's Elder Zay's cave abode. The expressions of everyone in the Duan family changed when the Tao runes exploded. Those who cultivated to the 3rd step would not leave a soul card. Once these experts perished, the Tao runes they left in their cave abodes would explode. How was this possible? How could they perish after cultivating to the Unity Realm? Even if they were surrounded by a few Unity Realm experts, the chances of them perishing were extremely low. Boom! Boom! Before the people in the Duan family could react, 2 more intense Tao runes exploded. This time, it's Elder Yu Wu and Elder Liang Yu's cave abodes. Even an idiot knew that Duan Shiza, Duan Yu Wu, and Duan Liang Yu had perished. This was because they had gone to heavens beyond at the same time and their cave abodes had exploded with Tao runes. A shrill warning bell rang. At that moment, almost everyone rushed to the main peak of the family. The Duan family had lost 2 Creation Realm experts and 1 Unity Realm expert at the same time. This was like a bolt from the blue to the Duan family. If even 3 3rd step experts had perished, then the Tao Integration Sacred Emperors would definitely perish as well. Duan Yingyan was the strongest Unity Realm expert in the Duan family. He was also the only late-stage Unity Realm expert in the Duan family. His face was livid as he stood on the square of the Duan family, his body filled with killing intent. In the past, the Duan family had only destroyed planets and killed people. Now, someone had actually attacked the Duan clan of the 7 pagodas and killed 3 3rd-step experts at once. Including Duan Jingmu, whose body had been destroyed, there were 4 of them. In addition, there were also several Tao Integration Sacred Emperors. If they had been bullied like this, the Duan clan of the 7 Soas would have retaliated crazily. Otherwise, the Duan clan of the 7 Soas wouldn't have flourished so much in the 7 Soas world. Chapter 1327. Today is a disgrace to the Duan clan of 7 SOS. 3 3rd-step Tao validation experts of the Duan clan of 7 SOS perished in an insignificant place called Heavens Beyond. Duan Shiza, a 3rd-step realm integration Grand Elder, Duan Yu Wu and Duan Liang Yu, creation realm elders of the Duan clan of 7 SOS. They were all killed within a few days and the Tao rune intent they left in the cave abode exploded today. In addition, several Tao Integration Divine Emperors of the Duan clan of 7 SOS were also killed in Heavens Beyond. In addition, Duan Jingmu, the 3rd-step elder of the Duan clan of 7 SOS, also had his body destroyed. When has the Duan clan of 7 SOS been bullied to this extent? All the disciples of the Duan clan of 7 SOS, tell me, do you want to take revenge? Revenge, revenge. As Duan Yingyan's voice fell, the surroundings were filled with cries of revenge. Duan Yingyan waited for the cries to die down before shouting sternly, all 3rd-step divine emperors of the Duan clan of 7 SOS, follow me to heavens beyond now. Ning Cheng had been outside the Duan clan of 7 SOS for more than 2 days. In order to hide the indestructible axe's blade, Ning Cheng had been setting up a restriction array and a small void teleportation array outside the defense array of the Duan clan of 7 SOS. The defense array of the Duan clan of 7 SOS was too strong and Changbuxiao was too weak, so Ning Cheng did not ask him to come. However, Changbuxiao insisted on hiding in the outermost area, so Ning Cheng could not be bothered. He knew what Changbuxiao meant. Changbuxiao wanted to kill everyone in the Duan clan of 7 SOS. Once the battle started, he would stop the disciples who wanted to escape from the Duan clan of 7 SOS. Ning Cheng had sensed the explosion of Tao runes in the depths of the Duan clan of 7 SOS, but he did not know what had happened there. Ning Cheng was a little surprised to hear angry cries coming from the Duan clan of 7 SOS. He had been very careful when he came here and did not alarm the Duan clan of 7 SOS when he set up the array. Why was there such a big commotion? Ning Cheng had originally wanted to set up a few more void teleportation arrays, but he decided not to wait after hearing the commotion. He threw out several array flags in his hand. As these array flags were thrown down, the terrifying Dao Charm aura of the Undying Axe, which was bound by the array flags, rushed into the sky. At that moment, everyone in the Duan clan of 7 SOS stared at the edge of the most inconspicuous mountain range outside the defense array. They could actually sense the Dao rune aura of a creation magic treasure there. Moreover, this aura contained the aura of the grand Dao of creation. What else could a Dharma treasure that contained the aura of the great Dao of creation be if not a Dharma treasure of creation? Duan Yingyan was the strongest, so he was the first to react. When he determined that this was the Dao charm aura of the good fortune indestructible axe, his figure immediately flashed over. At the same time, he opened the defense array. At this moment, his heart was pounding. He hadn't thought too much about it yet. The Dao rune aura of the creation Dharma treasure had appeared when the Duan clan of 7 Soas wanted to go to the beyond of heaven and earth to take revenge. Did this not mean that the Duan clan of 7 Soas had great luck? He had to lock the aura of this creation magic treasure as soon as possible and then put it away. Otherwise, this thing would soon spread throughout the entire 7 Soas realm. Duan Yingyan's speed was not slow. Before the others could react, he had already arrived in front of the magic treasure that was emitting the Dao charm aura of the creation Dao. He saw a defense array, and the Dao rune aura of the grand Dao of creation came from this defense array. Unfortunately, his spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate this defense array. He could vaguely sense that this was the Dao rune aura of the good fortune indestructible axe, and it was the aura of the broken indestructible axe. Boom! Duan Yingyan didn't even think before punching out. Although Ning Cheng had set up several layers of the defense array, it didn't have much resistance against Duan Yingyan's punch. After this punch, it shattered directly. At that moment, Ning Cheng threw out the second array flag. While throwing out the array flag, Ning Cheng was also secretly shocked. His speed was a little slower. If he had thrown out the array flag a little faster, perhaps Duan Yingyan's punch wouldn't have landed. However, he didn't expect Duan Yingyan's speed to be so fast. They were both experts in the convergence realm, but Duan Yingyan's strength was far stronger than Duan Shiza's. Duan Yingyan's punch easily blasted open Ning Cheng's defense array, but the Dao rune aura of the good fortune indestructible axe disappeared. In another corner far away from him, an even more powerful grand Dao of creation aura erupted. Duan Yingyan was slightly startled, but he instantly understood what was going on. Someone had deliberately arranged this. When he was about to grab the good fortune magic treasure, the other party used a transfer array disk to teleport the good fortune magic treasure to another corner. There was obviously only one purpose, to attract experts from the 7 Soas world to snatch the good fortune magic treasure from the Duan clan. Everyone in the Duan clan of 7 Soas, listen up. No matter who snatches this good fortune magic treasure, they can live in the Dao Spring Mountain. Duan Yingyan shouted without hesitation. He immediately let all the disciples of the Duan clan of 7 Soas start to snatch the broken indestructible axe that emitted the aura of the good fortune magic treasure. The Dao runes of the good fortune magic treasure were very sensitive, not to mention that Ning Cheng had taken the initiative to activate the broken indestructible axe's good fortune cultivation technique aura. When Ning Cheng moved the broken indestructible axe for the first time, some experts had already sensed this aura. When Ning Cheng moved the broken indestructible axe for the second time, everyone in the Duan clan of 7 Soas started to snatch the broken indestructible axe. Some third-step experts who weren't from the Duan clan of 7 Soas rushed towards the location of the broken indestructible axe. Not everyone was like Zhong Wuchen, who valued the 7 bridges more than the broken indestructible axe. What's more, the experts who rushed over did not know that it was just a broken blade of the indestructible axe. Before outsiders joined in, perhaps the Duan clan of 7 Soas would just compete with each other. But once outsiders joined in, it would not be as simple as a competition. Blood mist filled the air, and the real massacre began. No matter how strong the Duan clan of 7 Soas was, it was only in the eyes of the weaker small planets and sections. Real experts did not fear the strength of the Duan clan of 7 Soas. What's more, Ning Cheng had placed the broken indestructible axe outside the Duan clan of 7 Soas defense array. As more and more people joined in, the massacre became more and more intense. In the end, Ning Cheng did not even need to control the indestructible axe's broken blade to change its position. Instead, people would stop and snatch it from each other. Boom! A terrifying Dao charm power blocked Duan Yinyan's path, and Duan Yinyan suddenly felt afraid. He saw countless disciples of the Duan clan of 7 Soas being easily beheaded. He also saw more and more people joining in this unreasonable massacre. Someone could even stop him. Although that person immediately rushed to snatch the good fortune weapon after blocking him, he still could not suppress the fear in his heart. It was not that he was afraid of dying, but that the Duan clan of 7 Soas would perish. Under such an intense battle, the Duan clan of 7 Soas defense array had long since turned into a mess. The dead disciples turned into a blood mist, and the scattered Dao charm aura turned the entire Duan clan of 7 Soas into a living hell. All disciples of the Duan clan of 7 Soas, withdraw from the fight. Duan Yinyan screamed. If this was any other place, he would not have cared. But this was the lair of the Duan clan of 7 Soas. Which one of those who could come here to fight wasn't an expert among experts? If he did not give the order, everyone in the Duan clan of 7 Soas would be killed. Unfortunately, even if they could hear his order, it would not be easy for them to withdraw amid so many robberies and killings. No matter how strong the Duan clan of 7 Soas was, it could not scare those true experts. Duan Yinyan's hands were trembling. His Tao had reached the late-stage realm integration realm, so he had gradually understood the Tao of heaven and earth. When the situation was out of his control, he could not help but be afraid. It was only now that he knew what kind of ruthless person the Duan clan of 7 Soas had offended. The other party had not waited for the Duan clan of 7 Soas to find the beyond of heaven and earth. Exterminating a clan or a world was not something that the Duan clan of 7 Soas could do. He suddenly thought of the Tao integration alchemy Saint Fei Yin of the 7 Soas realm. Fei Yin was one of his few friends in the 7 Soas realm. After the Duan clan of the 7 Aquas destroyed a small planet, Fei Yin, who had come to visit, had said this to him. Brother Yin Yen, the universe is vast and boundless. There are countless experts, not just our 7 Aquas realm. Brother Yin Yen, you still have to restrain the Duan clan's disciples in the future. Don't destroy a planet for no reason. Every debt has its debtor. Destroying a planet is too immoral, and the killing is too heavy. His answer was still fresh in his memory. Brother Yin, why do we cultivate? If we are restrained, how can we find the true essence of the Tao? The Duan clan of 7 Soas has stood tall until now because of our imposing manner and our strong belief that we cannot be provoked by any dust. Every disciple of the Duan clan of 7 Soas will be proud of the Duan clan of 7 Soas. I will never have any hindrance in my heart because of anything. Fei Yin shook his head. Brother Yin Yen, I still stand by what I said. The Duan clan of 7 Soas is not the ruler of the vast universe and cannot do what you said. If we are forced into a corner, it will not be beneficial for the Duan clan of 7 Soas. These memories flashed across Duan Yinyan's mind. He only knew that Fei Yin had not contacted him much since then. As an expert of the Duan clan of 7 Soas, he naturally would not seek an explanation from Fei Yin. The smell of blood permeated the air and Duan Yinyan immediately sobered up. Stop, everyone stop, the people in the melee really stopped. After Duan Yingyan's voice faded, they did not move at all. Duan Yingyan was not surprised at all. Instead, he looked at the vast void above the Duan clan of 7 Soas in horror. In the void, a violent and majestic killing intent slashed down. Under this majestic killing intent, the 7 Soas realm's defensive array directly shattered. An earth-shattering axe shadow slashed down from the void. This killing intent shrouded all the experts who were fighting for the indestructible axe's blade. At this moment, the entire space was filled with death, oppression, destruction, and despair. Duan Yingyan's face was extremely pale. Under this terrifying axe intent, he could not speak even if he wanted to. This giant axe seemed to slash down from the edge of the universe. Anything in front of the giant axe would be crushed into pieces. Ning Cheng, who was hiding far away from the Duan clan of 7 Soas, was also suppressed by this aura. Good fortune indestructible axe. Ning Cheng was extremely shocked. This was the second time he saw the good fortune indestructible axe. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.